High school sports fans, are you following Varsity Media on our YouTube channel? For the best coverage of New York high school sports, make sure you head to youtube.com/varsitymedia. 3 easy steps. First, hit that like button, and then be sure to subscribe. And finally, tap that yellow bell to be notified of all of our upcoming sportscasts. Thank you for following Varsity Media on YouTube.
Hey everyone, I'm Kyle Collier. I'm the owner of StretchFlow and the developer of the StretchFlow system. We're very excited to announce that we have partnered with Varsity Media to help the next generation of high school athletes to recover faster, perform better, and make more plays. Our StretchFlow system has been developed and tested over thousands of hours with real-world athletes. Our technique uses assisted stretch, soft tissue therapy, and targeted muscle recovery to provide a relaxing, stress-free experience that returns your body back to ideal function so you can stay on the field and win. We know sports are tough, so stay in peak performance and condition with StretchFlow. You can message us directly on Instagram at stretch_flow, or you can call us at 516-336-9627. But make sure you use the code VM-FLOW to receive your $49 introductory session.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream media partner of Nassau County playoffs. For semifinal and championship coverage of soccer, volleyball, field hockey, and football, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Varsity Media is the home for New York high school sports.
From Mitchell Athletic Field here in Uniondale, the Varsity Media Sports Network presents the CHSFL AAA Showdown between the visiting Flyers of Chaminade and the host Firebirds of Kellenberg. Today's CHSFL AAA contest is sponsored by StretchFlow as well as Speed Island. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you inside the booth. Dylan Butler alongside John Baccio. And John, fun matchup, obviously. We talk about rivalries all the time in the Catholic Football League. And last week we saw Chaminade, St. Anthony's. Those are 2 schools. You know, one's in Nassau, one's in Suffolk. No love lost between the 2. This one's unique, though, because a lot of times it pits the same, not only the same town, but the same block, the same family even.
Oh, 100%. These are the boys from the same block, the Marinus community coming together, but they're playing against each other today. A big game for both squads. Chaminade looking to get back on the schedule in a good way, and Kellenberg looking to continue their 3-game win streak right now, but it should be a fun one.
An important one always is when these 2 teams face off. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape in this one. And you can see them both kind of a little bit different right now, where Chaminade 0-4. You see the start. Kellenberg 3-2 on the year, and you see the passing yards very similar. A little bit more in terms of the rushing game for Kellenberg, and the points, John, a big difference. Kellenberg with an edge there, where the Chaminade offense hasn't yet been clicking this season.
Yeah, 100%. Chaminade's offense has lacked, whereas Kellenberg, they've been all over the stat sheet in that aspect. But in terms of just straight play, Chaminade's really got to step it up today. On the defensive side of the ball, they've been phenomenal. The offense is where they lack a little bit, and especially without starting running back Jack Tully, it's going to be even tougher with Peter Gerbasi, the junior, having to step up into his role.
Yeah, so the Flyers, they enter this game with an 0-4 record, and while Kevin Dolan, the head coach, says, listen, you know, we're still feeling good. There's no one hitting the panic button just yet. You know, they can lean a little bit on last year as well, where look, they started 0-3. They had a home game against Cardinal Hayes, a pivotal one there. They won that one, and you saw what it did to them for the rest of the season. So in that sense, as you see the coaches making their way out to the field, an important one. And honestly, you feel like at this point of the season, week 5 for them, any way they can get a win, they'll take it.
Any means possible for these Chaminade Flyers as they march into Mitchell Field. You know, when you're 0-4, you're in dire times. And St. Anthony's last week, that was a big game for them. Although they didn't come up with a win, we really saw what Chaminade is made of. Really solid, gritty defense turning into big offense, especially in that first half. Chaminade played really, really well on the offensive side of the ball. If they can play like that again today, that might just get them a win.
And that was the first game with a new offensive coordinator with the same name, Kevin Dolan Jr., taking over the helm as the OC. It was previously his dad, the head coach, doing it. So a little bit of a different wrinkle. We'll see some additional wrinkles this week. As far as the players to watch for Chaminade, listen, this is going to be a game about field position, right? And the Flyers have one of the best in the Catholic Football League in doing that. Not only kicking field goals, as Tim Tomlinson does so well, but it's those kickoffs, those touchbacks, those punts deep inside the 20. Those are going to be really important for Tomlinson today.
Tomlinson's had 10 kickoffs this entire year, 9 of them touchbacks. It just goes to show the leg that this kid's got, and he's played phenomenal this year, especially against St. Anthony's, knocking down 2 big field goals to give them that 13 mark as opposed to 7. Tomlinson's been great.
Hey, the one that he didn't get into the end zone was run back for a touchdown last week, a special teams breakdown for the Flyers. And on the other side, listen, the defense has been stout. But on that defensive end, man, Eamon Welsh has been bringing it all year. It's remarkable to think a guy on the line has those kind of numbers, but that's what Welch is bringing this year.
Absolutely, and that's why the kid Eamon Welch has got a lot of NESCAC offers. He's a big piece to a great defense, puts in tons of effort. He's a gas tank that has no end. He's just a workhorse at the defensive end position.
Kellenberg, like Chaminade, they graduated a lot from last year's team, right? Where key guys, especially skilled guys, they do bring back on a lot on both sides of the line. 3-2 is the start. They've been aided a little bit by their schedule, so they kind of go into the heat of their schedule right now. Some of the bigger and better teams, but certainly a good start for the Firebirds this season.
Oh, absolutely. You know, on a 3-game win streak. Yes, you dropped those first 2, but those are 2 games against national talent, which, not to say Kellenberg wasn't expected to win or put up a fight, whatever it may be. Kellenberg, they played phenomenal in those 2 games, and the offense has just looked so good, which has been a big piece of what their team has been this year.
How important would a win be for Kellenberg today? Think about this, their upcoming schedule. Stepanek, Iona, Farrell, right? So it's going to get a lot more difficult for Kellenberg going forward, but 2 guys that they will lean on. We'll show you their players to watch right now. And listen, Brendan Galla. How often, John, do we see that Swiss Army knife for Kellenberg, right? Galla's not kicking and punting like Sean Cannon did, but he's a guy who does a little bit of everything on the offense. On the other side, listen, Vincenzo Cascone from that middle linebacker spot. You see his tackles, 23, 5.5, nearly 6 per game. He is part of a really, really good Kellenberg defense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these 2 guys are the biggest pieces. They're the players to watch for a reason. Brendan Galla stepping into that Sean Cannon role, as you were talking about. And yeah, you know, maybe he's not doing it on special teams, but he's doing it everywhere else. 15 receptions, 270 yards. He's been the go-to guy as a receiver for the Kellenberg squad. And as for Cascone, I mean, he's just all over the field at that second level.
Yeah, you always have that really good athlete. Maybe not the biggest size guy. Listen, you go back a few years, that's exactly who Matty Sluka was, even as the QB. Guys who just make a big impact in a game like this. Speaking of the keys for both teams, listen, these are 2 programs that are similar. The players know each other. They're from the same neighborhood. Why not have the same key? Both Chaminade and Kellenberg say, listen, we're going to make you try to throw the football. For Chaminade also, force, or you want consistency on offense. That's obviously been a key throughout the season. And excellence on specials for Kellenberg. Limit mistakes. And similar right there, too, right? In terms of special teams. You want to win some of those field position battles.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, these keys for the teams, it makes sense. Force him to throw the ball. Guess what? It makes sense. Kenny Noe's great on the ground for Kellenberg, but when he throws the ball, that's when it gets shaky. 47% completion, and we're not going to act like the same doesn't go for Tyler Granito at times. A 54 QBR on the year, 2 games this season below a 35 QBR. I mean, you got to pull out the stops. You got to force them to throw. Both of these teams want to go to the ground as much as possible, so they're going to try to flip the script on that.
It is Chaminade. It is Kellenberg. A battle here in the Catholic High School Football League AAA. And we'll have the opening kickoff when we return right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Hey everyone, I'm Kyle Collier. I'm the owner of StretchFlow and the developer of the StretchFlow system. We're very excited to announce that we have partnered with Varsity Media to help the next generation of high school athletes to recover faster, perform better, and make more plays. Our StretchFlow system has been developed and tested over thousands of hours with real-world athletes. Our technique uses assisted stretch, soft tissue therapy, and targeted muscle recovery to provide a relaxing, stress-free experience that returns your body back to ideal function so you can stay on the field and win. We know sports are tough, so stay in peak performance and condition with StretchFlow. You can message us directly on Instagram at stretch_flow, or you can call us at 516-336-9627. But make sure you use the code VM-FLOW to receive your $49 introductory session.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream media partner of Nassau County playoffs. For semifinal and championship coverage of soccer, volleyball, field hockey, and football, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Varsity Media is the home for New York high school sports.
Inside the 10 to the end zone.
Oh, he's got a wide open receiver. AJ Duff. Get out of the way! Dante Torres! End zone. Touchdown.
10-5 touchdown.
Hello, beautiful people. We all know Travis Hunter, right? We're headed to Jackson, Mississippi right now to announce his partnership with my favorite hoodie.
All of my OG subscribers already know about those hoods that I usually wear in all my videos. But if you're new here, it's called a So hoodie. Basically, how it started was with athletes wearing towels on their head. No different from the innovation of a single arm sleeve or a leg sleeve. Boom, take that towel off and throw a hood on. You could do something calm and just have the blank color to match your team uniform. Or you and a gang could place a team order to have the school logo on the side of it. And it's not just for players. The fans need some drip too. Y'all know I got my Iwiwi hoods up there and some other cool collabs, including this collab we're doing with Travis Hunter. So go check out the link in my description, and when you're ready to check out, go ahead and use promo code HA15. You heard?
And we welcome you back to Mitchell Athletic Complex. Dylan Butler, John Baccio, the entire Varsity Media crew here as the anthem has been played. The coin has been tossed. It is Chaminade that won that toss, and they will receive this opening kickoff in this Catholic High School Football League AAA Showdown presented by StretchFlow. See a final huddle there for the Flyers and a final prayer as well, John. Somewhere in the middle is their head coach, Kevin Dolan. And Dolan is a Chaminade lifer. You see that, a 1985 graduate, his 8th season as head coach. His 35th year overall of coaching, previously at New Hyde Park down the road. Mike Dolce, the DC, Rich Grisma, an offensive line coach, and as we mentioned in the open, his son, Kevin Dolan Jr., the newly appointed offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and KDJ, as the players call him, he's been working with this unit for the last few years, and now he's finally brought himself up to that offensive coordinator standpoint. And he's been doing a good job with them this season. Last game, we saw a bunch of good strides from the Chaminade offense as he looks to continue that today. The real standouts have been that defense, so we'll see how that goes against the potent Kellenberg offense, averaging nearly 30 a game.
That is Owen Cunningham, the junior kicker. Had a few issues kicking a couple weeks ago, but Eric Meissy, the Kellenberg coach, said, listen, that was more about the elements at Maritime than it was anything else. But he's a solid one as well. We mentioned Tomlinson in the beginning, but don't sleep on Cunningham either. He can certainly get the job done. Opening kick here is a short and returnable one. It's returned there at the 10-yard line. Decent return back to about the 36-yard line, 35-yard line, and that's where the Chaminade offense will get going, and they are led, John, by Tyler Granito. A little bit of a different quarterback than we saw Matt Diegas last year, but certainly the cerebral one and a true pocket passer.
Yeah, Granito, a great quarterback for the Chaminade Flyers, and he can sling it just like Diegas could last year, but he stays to his strengths, goes to his reads. He's a guy with a lot of IQ, sticks to his mechanics, and he could be doing some great things for Chaminade today against this Kellenberg defense.
You mentioned in the open the injury to Jack Tully. It's an ankle injury, out this week certainly, out next week certainly. That means that this young man has the bulk of the running. That's Peter Gerbasi, and he is pushed back really quick. Solid play by that front of the Firebirds. Let's meet the Chaminade offensive starters. You mentioned Granito and Gerbasi. Your wide receivers, Park Dietrich, Lavellis, and Chaminade up front. A really good physical offensive line. Trauma Catazio, Rinaldi, Declan Miller, Seamus Miller's younger brother, and Chris Galuccio rounded out. No gain on first down. It is a 2nd and 10 for the Flyers. Granito, quick out, goes far sideline, finds his receiver. That is Park, and he gets about 7 on that pass. Let's meet the Firebirds starting defense. A 3-man front of Darcy, Gittins, and Foster. Your linebackers are Gala, Fennell, Cascone, and Grimm. In the secondary, your corners are DaCosta and Quiros, and your safeties are McGrory and Gagan. 3rd and 3 for the Flyers, and getting first downs and moving the chains. It sounds cliche, John, but certainly something really important for an offense that has struggled, as Dietrich in motion a little bit. Handoff up the middle. Good push. Look at Gerbasi getting past the 50, moving the chains, and that's what you want on a 3rd and 3.
And that's a textbook run by Peter Gerbasi right there. The fullback-style runner has a lot of strength and can get downhill with ease, and you'll see it again right here. Gerbasi finds the gap, and he gets there as fast as he possibly can, pushes a few forward. That's a great first down and a great way to start this drive for Chaminade.
You also saw leading the way blocking was Timmy Battaglia, the first in Kevin Dolan's 8 years as a head coach. First 2A starter for the Flyers. So a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 from the Kellenberg 49-yard line. Another handoff. A little slippery you can see on the track. As a good run there on first down. The tackle was made by Jake Grimm as Gerbasi got out to about the 46-yard line.
Yeah, Chaminade, they're going to establish their game on the ground before they go to the passing. Granito had a nice little 7-yarder earlier, but that's exactly what you want to see. Establish the game where you know your strengths are at, and then you can kind of start flipping the script a little bit, airing it out.
And you wonder, too, if the elements also play into that role again, right? It's not raining right now, but it is certainly a wet field. You probably could see some of the puddles around the track, so we'll see if that just lends to both teams just kind of going old school ground and pound. 2nd and 7, the Firebirds show blitz. Granito bounces one to his intended receiver who, as we just mentioned, slipped on the play, and that was Brendan Park.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Chaminade right there. Park just running about a 10-yard curl. Granito thought he was coming back, and even so, it was a bit of a low ball, but either way, Chaminade's going to get it going again here on 3rd down.
So 3rd and 7 for the Flyers, and as we mentioned, a new offensive coordinator. You mentioned KDJ as the man, and it was an interesting conversation between he and the head coach's dad, where Dolan said, listen, I'm going to fire myself as the OC. You want the job? And he's like, listen, as long as you don't feel bad about it, yeah, I'm going to take it. 3rd and 7. Good protection. That's a catch, but certainly shy of the first down marker, as it looked to be Chaminade. No, was it? Excuse me, 89.
Yeah, that was Lavellis on the far side there with the reception. Lavellis a big body, but the ball was coming back on that route from Granito right there. And now they bring out player to watch, Tim Tomlinson.
Yeah, interesting decision here. It's 4th and 2 from the Kellenberg 41. So certainly Tomlinson, if he can kind of angle his punt here, gets the snap, and that's what he will do. Gets it high in the air. And a catch is made, so no return. And he does, again, pin the Firebirds inside their own 20. And leading Kellenberg out is their first-year starting quarterback, Kenny Noe. You see the numbers right now. That's total yards because he's doing it both, as kind of the Kellenberg quarterback will do, whether it's Matty Sluka, whether it's Devin Page, and it is now Kenny Noe showing the versatility in that quarterback position.
Yeah, Kenny Noe, he's been great this year. About 140 yards less on the ground as opposed to the air, but he can do it all.
1st and 10 from the Kellenberg 17-yard line. Handoff up to middle. I believe that's Jack Barkley making the run, number 14. Let's meet the Kellenberg offense now, and joining Noe and Barkley, the receivers, Gala, O'Toole, Gagan, and Binkley up front, left to right. Iannicelli, Fifield, Holland, Kaiser, and Markey. Gain of 7 on first down, 2nd and 3. Noe in shotgun, has Gala motioning. Noe takes it himself, tries to push it up the middle, gets really close to that first down marker. I think he's just maybe a yai. Nope, they're going to give it to him. It'll be a first down. Let's meet the Chaminade defense now, and a really good one there as well. Up front, it's Welch, Viscardi, and Battaglia. Your linebackers are Brian Knapp, Seamus Miller, Dean Schmidt, and Luke Cocciola. It's Marshall and Landrum at the corners, Hanley and Cuomo at the safety positions.
Something you see on defense from both these squads, they love the 3-4 system, put 3 down linemen and then push forward to the linebacker core, or you might see a linebacker sneak up. If anybody's going to do it, it'll most likely be a guy like Brian Knapp for Chaminade.
Handoff again, trying to bounce it to the outside. Near that Chaminade sideline was Barkley, the junior from Lynbrook. We're going to see a mix here of Barkley and Nick Kramer as well. They kind of split time, but Barkley's getting a good opening series here for the Firebirds.
Yeah, Barkley's got a true burst of speed on him. Been phenomenal all year for the Firebirds, just over 230 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And Barkley's that football lifer as well, and he knows how to fall forward. All those kind of important things to get the extra 2-3 yards. No gain on first down, so 2nd and 7 for the Firebirds. It's trips right, and Noe looks that way. Finds an intended receiver. That's Gagan over the middle, and Jack Gagan will move the chains as he gets to the 45-yard line.
We talked about a two-way number 9 for Chaminade. That's Timmy Battaglia. Well, here's your two-way number 9 for Kellenberg. Jack Gagan can do it at corner, and he does it at receiver, lining up in the middle of that trip system. Noe knows exactly where he's going with that one. Finds Gagan through the seam, and he gets a big chunk on that play.
Gagan, 10 receptions for 147 and 2 touchdowns. Back to Barkley, trying to push it forward, and he'll get maybe 2 on that first down run.
Yeah, this is where Kellenberg is just trying to come out, establish themselves exactly like the Flyers did on their first drive, and they've been doing a good job of it, just small plays leading into bigger ones.
I think it's a fun matchup, too, both front lines, right, where Kevin Dolan, in our conversation with the Chaminade head coach, was very complimentary of the Kellenberg front, especially, I think, Isaiah Gittins as well, and we'll see him factor in on both sides as well. 2nd and 8 for Kellenberg. And Noe, that's read really well. He is eaten up, hit for a loss. You see Welsh in there. a part of that as well, it looked like, as 42.
Yeah, and this is a great play. We were talking about the Kellenberg front. Well, here's the Chaminade front coming into play. That was Rob Mellier for the Flyers. A really nice play, playing that nose guard position, but he finds his way through to get home.
So it's 3rd and 11. And the key for Chaminade, force them to throw. That's what it looks like they'll have to do here. Noe does go, finds Gagan. He is hit hard, and he's hit right at the line, but he bounced forward to get that little extra step that he needed to get the first down.
Oh, yeah, that was a great play by Noe and Gagan right there. But Gagan able to reach for it. Lining up in that same trip system. Noe knows where he's going again, finds him, and he got the hammer laid down on him, but it's a first down either way. Kellenberg's marching here.
Yeah, William Hanley with a big hit. But again, the Firebirds do move the chains in a critically important game for both teams. 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line. It is again trips right for the Firebirds. This time, Noe calls his own number, runs just past Welsh. And once you can get past that front, you can get a couple more yards there, and that's exactly what Noe did.
Yeah, and this is a linebacker core that you don't want to underrate. Chaminade last year had 3 Division I linebackers, and this year, they step into a nice little 3-4 system where, once you get to the second level, that's where you can start to work a little bit. Guys like Seamus Miller on that second level are tough to get past, but you can definitely get there, especially when you're only putting 3 down linemen.
Gain of 7 for the Firebirds on first down there for Noe. There you see Kevin Dolan on the other sideline. Handoff again, trying to bounce it to the outside. Nothing doing for Nick Kramer.
Kramer nowhere to go right there. And something that you notice with this Kellenberg team is a lot of their starters last year, they were seniors. The only place where that didn't really relate was the offensive line. A lot of them 2-time starters now coming up as seniors and juniors. But this is definitely an offensive line that can play really well as a system. Right here, it's been a little bit shaky. There's been 2 TFLs already for the Flyers, but they'll pick it up as they go along. This team, experienced, but not there just yet.
Welch and Schmidt look there on the tackles. 3rd and 3. No, he bobbles it initially, and you wonder how much that affected his throw, and a late flag thrown as well. You would expect this to be a roughing the passer variety. As we'll take a look at our white hat, our referee for today's game, Chris Atchison. And it is a personal foul, roughing the passer.
Yeah, and that's just a bad late hit from the Flyers right there. Noe did get it off really fast, which does kind of set off the tempo a little bit for it. But you see it again right here. Chaminade gets through, and the late hit was from Eamon Welch coming through the offensive line. A high ball either way from Noe. You got to think maybe the weather's factoring in there a little bit as well, because that field is wet.
Yeah, it looked like the ball was wet there too, and he bobbled it initially off the snap. Off a Kareem Holland snap. So 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. So obviously a personal foul, 15-yarder, which will really move the Firebirds up the field.
You got to think Kellenberg goes back to the run game here. Haven't tried it out in the last few plays, and last time they did it was a TFL. You got to get back into it.
Noe, plenty of time, goes over the middle. Gagan, the intended receiver, but that is incomplete. John Marshall was in coverage for the Flyers.
And that's a matchup that we're going to be seeing all day long. The senior captain, John Marshall, on the junior, Jack Gagan. Noe, he's already tested it out a few times when Chaminade falls into his zone. Now they go back to a man with Marshall on him. Great coverage, but either way, a ball that goes way over their heads.
With so many Nassau guys on both sides, Marshall is a little bit of that exception, right, coming out of Melville.
You got a few guys like that. You have some Queens guys. You even have a guy like Matt Chaminade on the Chaminade offense, who originally was from the city, now locates to Jamesport. But for the most part, these guys are all Nassau.
Gala in motion, number 4. Noe, fake the handoff, tries to push forward. There's a flag on the play. And we'll see what this one is. He just was trying to get back to that line of scrimmage, as Chris Atchison will confer on this penalty. And this will be a hold on the Firebirds. You can see even in Chris Atchison's pants a little bit, you can see the wind as well. So it is going to be a difficult day for both of our kickers, Tomlinson and Cunningham as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Will not be a fun game to play until those lights go on, because it is cold, just rained, it's gloomy.
2nd and 16 after that penalty. Look out. No, he loses the football. It's on the carpet. And Eamon Welsh, he was just called for the personal foul. Well, he amends for that in a big-time way. The fumble recovery right at midfield gives the Flyers the football.
Oh, and he is hyped up. Noe gives it off, and it's a little flea flicker action between Barkley and O'Toole. Barkley throws it at Donovan O'Toole's helmet, and Eamon Welch is all over it, sliding around to get the fumble recovery.
So first big momentum kind of changing play goes to today's visitors in white. Chaminade, let's see now if the Flyers offensively can capitalize.
Last time around, a solid drive that ended in a punt. They had 4th and 2 on the 41. Well, now they're basically right there again. Just a few first downs, and they'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line to start their drive. Granito, empty backfield. Fires it and has a receiver. So many different receivers. That's Peter Braz making the reception. And that's one of the things that Dolan said as well. A lot of different options. You know, we ask him who his starters are, and he lists the 4 starters. But you got a Timmy Battaglia who can come in on a tight end package, also catch the football. You've got Braz as well as John Carroll, so probably 6-7 different guys who can catch the football for the Flyers.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of options for the Chaminade offense. As you see the student section starting to fill up right there. But as I was saying, Chaminade has a lot of ways that they can go with the ball on offense. Lots of depth in this receiver corps.
I think considering the weather, today is a good costume kind of day, whether you're a banana or a superhero, I guess. 2nd and 5 for the Flyers. This time a handoff, and it went for really not much of a gain at all. You see the big play by Noah Foster, number 51, from just across Hempstead Turnpike. The Hempstead guy, 11 tackles, 1 fumble recovery, a little bit undersized in that position, but gets off really quick.
And this is exactly where Kellenberg thrives on defense. The front 7 is immaculate for them. Every single player on that front 7 is able to crash and immediately get to the backfield. And Chaminade, they've been shut down today so far.
3rd and 4. Granito, quick out over the middle. What a tough play that was, and what a great job just making the catch by John Carroll. Not only did he have a Kellenberg player there, but he had to range up to get it. Not easy at all, but Carroll makes a huge first down reception.
And although it may look like a weird ball from Granito there, he does highball him really well to keep that out of harm's way. Carroll had he had a DB on his left, he had one behind him, so you highball him, you kind of give him that opportunity to bring it down without any trouble, even though it did cause a little bit from the back, but either way, they keep the chains moving.
Carroll, the Navy baseball commit. It was Battaglia who motioned out. A little bit of a jump ball throw over the middle, and great job just pushing forward. A little momentum there as well for number 89 for Chaminade, Lavellis.
Yeah, and honestly, as soon as you see that kind of play, all it reminds me of is those Madden slip screens. As soon as they start crowding the backfield, the quarterback, almost no matter what, is jump throwing that ball. Granito pulls it off right there to get it to the big body Lavellis.
Fast-moving first quarter. You see it winding down here, 12 seconds and counting remaining. This is likely the final play. It's a running play, and up the middle for a few. It was Gerbasi to do so. He'll get the first down, which will stop the clock. But that should, once the chains move, it'll stop. It'll continue as it does here to end the first quarter. So no score here between the visiting Flyers of Chaminade and the host Firebirds of Kellenberg. But Chaminade threatening here when we come back for the start of the second quarter. You're watching this New York Catholic High School Football League AAA showdown presented by Stretch Flow right here in the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Solomon Thomas with the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
When it comes to advertising, are you hitting the right audience? Why waste your time with television or a free print publication that's given out at a local deli? Varsity Media has your back. With a following of over 50,000 and a local demographic ranging between the ages of 18 and 54 years old, it's time to get that return on investment. Plus, here's the best part. Your ad lives forever on our YouTube page. And with a large on-demand audience, it's a grand slam to advertise with Varsity Media.
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex here in Uniondale. Dylan Butler, John Baccio, the entire Varsity Media crew. 1/4 in the books, no score between Kellenberg and Chaminade. Although the Flyers, off of that Eamon Welsh fumble recovery at midfield, looking to try to push the ball into the end zone as they've got a 1st and 10 from the Kellenberg 29-yard line.
And right here, this is what you love to see. Granito going empty. He's built up the confidence in that arm already.
Trips right. Granito looks the other way. Airs it out, looking end zone. Knocked down. The intended target looked like that was Park. And a great job defensively by Jake Grimm.
And that's a familiar route for Park, a go route. He's a 7-on-7 player at heart, and right there, he gets his matchup, but that's a really nice play by the DB of Kellenberg right there.
I'd say Grimm was close to even getting his first interception of this season. Really did a great job, right? Like, he had to turn around at some point, did it the last second, and then you see he was, of the two guys, he was more likely here to make the catch as the Flyers will call timeout. So these two teams, certainly familiar foes, and every game it feels like is bigger than the next. Let's take a look at the last 5 meetings between these two. You see, you go back to 2018. Matt Sluka, we mentioned him at the beginning, man. What an athlete he was. 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jordan DeLuca ran for 168 and 3 as Kellenberg ran all over the Flyers that afternoon, 42-14. Chaminade, though, a year later, will get a little revenge in the AA1 final. How about Ryan Walsh having the game of his life? 16 for 20, 250 and 2. And the great Super Mario Fischetti, running for a couple touchdowns. Fischetti was huge in the next matchup as well. 22 for 262 and 4. In that 28-26 win, Kellenberg earned a little revenge of their own in 2021 with Devin Page throwing for 95 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Jaden Lyons with that big 95-yard kickoff return. That was at Gold Star Stadium, and what a statement that was for the Firebirds as we have a 2nd and 10 from the 29-yard line. Handoff up the middle. Look at this burst. A 1st down and then some. Gerbasi's telling you where to go. Move those chains, says the junior.
And this is something we talked about a little bit at the top, but Gerbasi is just so good at getting downhill. Soon as he has that ball in his hands, he knows where he's going with the football. And, I mean, that's a great block right there from the Chaminade offensive line as well to give him the position that he needs to get forward.
Yeah, you see a couple of Piqua guys there. Nick Rinaldi with a pancake, 72, and Timmy Battaglia, again, leading the way, paving some holes for that big 1st down. Red zone. And that's where Chaminade was a lot last week against St. Anthony's. They just couldn't punch the ball in, though. 1st and 10 from the 18. Another run up the middle. And this time, looks like that was that Gerbasi again?
Yeah, I believe that was Gerbasi just getting through. And this Chaminade offensive line, you have Nick Rinaldi going from the guard spot to the center spot. Lucas Cottagio staying in his guard role. 2 returners from last year. The rest of the offensive line totally new. But we almost saw a full-on senior offensive line last year in the 2 tackle spots and in the middle with Mason Dietrich. Now these juniors and seniors are starting to get their spots.
2nd and 5 from the 13-yard line. Pass, end zone. Touchdown for Chaminade.
And that's Lavellis. You get it to the guy that's 6'5" at all times. Why not? Granito sees the man on the go route and gets it to him. And here it is again. Granito sees Lavelis, and that's a little post corner looking route. And he is wide open back left corner.
So Chaminade draws first blood, and Tomlinson will look to kick the PAT. As the lights come on. There you go. Much brighter right now in Mitchell Athletic Complex. The kick is up, and it is no good. So only a 6-0 lead right now for Chaminade. We mentioned those past meetings. Well, what an epic encounter we had last year at Gold Star Stadium. We'll show you some of those moving images now. It's November 5th, 2022. Here's Devin Page rolling out. He's going to find the diving Sean Cannon. That's an 11-yard score. And Kellenberg led 10-3 at halftime. But there's Matt Diegues. Airs it out, finds Gavin Creo. And we are tied at 10. Some late drama as Page, he airs it out again. This time he finds Claude Albert Makalele. 49 yards, and the Firebirds, they're primed for the upset. But Diegues says, no, that's not happening today. He rolls right, slings it to Pat Bruno. Extends the arms, gets in the end zone. Ball game at the buzzer. As Chaminade wins that one, and they advance to the Final Four of the AAA. You and I on the call for that one. What an epic encounter between Chaminade and Kellenberg.
And that's a game that gives every Flyer fan goosebumps when you think back to it. I mean, just a crazy moment at Gold Star Stadium just a year back.
And Tomlinson doing what he does best there with the touchback and nearly past that netting there onto the track and field area behind here at Mitchell Athletic Complex. And that's one of the things that Eric Meissy, the head coach of Kellenberg, told us as well. As, listen, that was it was a unique situation because you had Kellenberg and Chaminade in back-to-back playoff games at Gold Star. So it was like a doubleheader essentially. In the earlier game, as you see, Meissy there in his second year as the head coach, another Kellenberg or another alum of his school, 2006 graduate of Kellenberg. But in the earlier game, in the JV game, it was Chaminade winning at the buzzer there as well. So every Kellenberg player this year, they lost to Chaminade last year on the same day in very similar fashion. So potentially revenge. Listen, you want to get motivation any way you can get it. It's probably something that even if it wasn't Meissy mentioning it, the guys in the locker room, I'm sure, had to speak about that here coming into this game.
And obviously, playoffs versus regular season, it's a different type of revenge, but still, at the end of the day, all these guys are hungry to get back at Chaminade for that game, for those two games last year.
And again, it is bragging rights. It is the same block, the same town, the same family. So a lot on the line here. 2nd and 7 as there's O'Toole in motion. That one blocked on the line. Good job defensively by the Flyers. Didn't see who got his big mitt. Was that 67 there? I think it was Giancarlo Viscardi. The nose from Franklin Square getting a piece, getting a big mitt on it.
And that's a big play by the nose guard. Chaminade goes 4 instead of 3. Viscardi normally playing in that middle role, taking a beating, and this time he's one-on-one with an offensive lineman. He sees exactly where the ball is going, able to pop up with that left hand and get a block on it.
Kevin Dolan describes Viscardi as a Franklin Square fireplug at 5'10", 245. 3rd and 7 now, and a flag here. Some motion, it looked like, on the offense as Chris Atchison points that out. So a false start on the offense, and that'll back the Firebirds up 5 more yards.
And that's a tough break for Kellenberg right now putting themselves in a really tough position. Chaminade looking to get back to work on offense after scoring a touchdown on that last drive, and it was a really good offensive possession from them. Kellenberg now trying to match it.
3rd and 12 from the Kellenberg 18-yard line. It's a game of field position, both coaches said, so this is an important 3rd down here for the Firebirds. They take a look to the sideline, looking to get perhaps a new call there. Noe ranges right, goes back across. That's picked off, intercepted, and it's William Hanley. Pick 6. No, I think he's out at the 1. No, it's a touchdown. Atchison had to make the call. The official here in the near sideline, he wasn't sure. Needed confirmation, but how about William Hanley there getting the pick six?
Hanley, his second interception of the year, and it doesn't get much easier than that. Noe, a wobbler to his wide receiver. Hanley, the free safety, is all over it. And now you get right here. He kicks over the pylon, but did that right foot step out before? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was so hard to tell from that vantage point. But Hanley with the INT, a huge play for Chaminade, and they've had a couple of big defensive plays, right? We mentioned before Eamon Welsh getting a fumble recovery, and this time it was Hanley with the pick six.
And they're going to stick him on the 2, so this is the 2-point conversion attempt coming up for Chaminade, looking to avenge Tomlinson's missed PAT.
We'll have a timeout for Chaminade. Maybe they're rethinking this. And the thing, too, you always say about these 2-point conversions, if you start to chase the points now and you miss, you are chasing those points throughout the game. So maybe that's a little bit of the conversation here for the Flyers, and just trying to figure out, do we go for the 2 now? If you get the 1, it's 13. So,
yeah, definitely
time to have a conversation.
Big decisions coming up for the Flyers here. Now you see on the screen. Follow us on social media. Just scan that QR code right there. Go to your camera, take a picture, do all that kind of stuff. You can find us everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, and more. But back to it. Chaminade, they've been doing a great job this game of putting points on the board, offense and defense now. 2-point or not, I say go for it. You chase the points while you can. You get an easy 2-yard run up the middle, and boom, you're right back on pace.
This one of 2 Catholic Football League matchups we have this weekend. We'll head out to West Islip tomorrow afternoon as the Cougars of St. John the Baptist take on the Lions of Monsignor Farrell, making the long trip from Staten Island. Sunday 1:30 kickoff from West Islip. So here we go. Chaminade will go for 2. Up the middle, and that's your running quarterback. That's a 2-point conversion, I was going to say, for Chaminade.
Tim Murphy
Murphy,
there,
yeah.
Running it in for the Flyers, and that's where they rotate. You know, as soon as that number 14 steps on the field, it's a run play coming up. They put him basically in wildcat at this point, and he runs behind a strong offensive push. Almost reminded me of that Philadelphia Eagles offensive line where QB sneaks are all automatic.
So after the Hanley interception return for a touchdown, 2-point conversion is good, so you do make up those points, and Chaminade has a 14-0 lead. As you see, the lights on here, and we were fortunate, a lot of rain as we all made our way here to Uniondale, and it hasn't dried out. The field is still very much wet, as the track is, but we've been fortunate not to have rain since. So,
yeah, Chaminade just playing with the field conditions. Kellenberg the same. Technically a home game for the Firebirds here at Mitchell.
Yeah, a short trip as Tomlinson, again, this time he'll bounce it into that netting behind for another touchback. But yeah, Kellenberg just across the way, really right on the other side of the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, Kellenberg. As you see, kind of feel like this is an important drive here, right, for Kellenberg. You can't afford to fall back. There's the Coliseum, former home of the New York Islanders, who now call Belmont their home, UBS Arena. And nothing doing there for the Firebirds. As again, you see Welsh in on the tackle, as that was Gala being hit.
Dylan, you say this is a kind of a big drive for Kellenberg right here. This is more than a kind of. You're down 14-0, especially right after the pick six. You got to get right back on the field and rebound. Right now is the time to do it. Noe looked great at the beginning of the game, getting it out to multiple receivers, finding Gagan on a few of those. Now you just got to calm yourselves, get back into the swing of things. Don't let this deficit get on top of you.
Loss of 2, though. So now each of these downs becoming more important. Another running down, another burst up the middle by Jack Barkley. You can see Dean Schmidt, again, right in the middle there, the senior from Garden City. He has been the man at that middle linebacker spot for the Flyers.
Now this is a time where you throw in an extra DB or two. You probably go back to your 3-4 regular scheme so you could put a few men in coverage. You have a 3rd and 9, and this is one of those where it's too far to do a little run play up the middle, but it's also close enough that you have to air it out and try and get it downfield.
I mentioned those linebackers a year ago, man. You had Charlie Battaglia, Matt Rappa, Ben Mann. But you just reload here for the Flyers. Noe, 3rd down conversion, another wobbler. This time he finds Gagan, and he is stopped short. He avoided the first man, but then the Flyers doing a good job in coverage there. I think it was Hanley again to force Gagan just a bit shy, and now the punting unit for the Firebirds come out.
Hanley, just a smart player. He's disciplined. He's everywhere on the field. He's also a basketball player, so he knows how to get up and down quick.
So 4th and 1 from the 29-yard line. It's Clive Smith, 25, the punter. And now the Firebirds will call timeout.
A weird concept right there. It almost lined up like it was going to be a 2-point conversion, but they move it along, spread out the offensive line, and then call timeout. Kellenberg did a pretty good job on their first drive, but since then, it's been scary times for them. They were moving downfield, then had to give it away. They give Chaminade the ball back. Now they're down 14-0. So, I mean, just not a great string of plays for the Firebirds just now.
We mentioned Kellenberg being just down the road, and let's take a closer look at Kellenberg Memorial High School. Established in 1987, named in the honor of the Most Reverend Walter P. Kellenberg, the founding bishop of the Diocese of Rockville Center. How about those famous alums? You've got Joe Harris, who was a first-round draft pick, former defensive end in the NFL. You've got the White House press secretary, and you've got an Iron Chef winner. That is diversity at its best at Kellenberg.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't complain if the Iron Chef winner from down the block comes over. But
that's a good, we often ask these kids, like, 3 famous people to have for dinner. That's a good threesome right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? You got Harris. He'll tell you about the NFL, and he'll give you some stories about playing in the league. And, I mean, you get some great stories from the White House press secretary, maybe on or off the record. I don't know.
Hey,
and then the Iron Chef winner is gonna cook for you.
Hey, I'm not complaining if I'm at that dinner. That's all I'm going to say.
Coming up at halftime, our Jared Veluzzi will interview Kenny Noe. We'll have our Varsity Media top 10 plays of the week and some halftime stats and more. So don't go away here at halftime. Here we go, 4th and 1. It looks like the Kellenberg Firebirds going to go. The push up the middle. Look at this one. It's a rugby scrum right at the 30-yard line. Where will they place the football?
Still waiting here. The brotherly shove coming out.
That was Nick Kramer, 21, to make the run. It looks like we're going to need the chains for this one. What a big moment here. You could see the football and the chain crew going to make their way out.
I think he's short. From where the football lies right now, it looks like he is just short of that first down.
Well, here we go. Chris Atchison, you're right in our way, buddy. You're in the shot. Great call by you. Just shy. So the Chaminade defense, another big play. Their student section there loves it. Their bench loves it. And now you got some short field to work with. 1st and 10 from the Kellenberg 29-yard line.
And that's where going for it on 4th down can get a little bit risky. Fans not looking too hyped right now, but they all are excited. Saw one of them in the mix there with a lacrosse helmet. We're doing different sports here, buddy. Either way, Chaminade going to get right back to it here on offense.
You and I would do here first play, just go for it. Go end zone, right? Like punish Kellenberg just maybe at their lowest point right now, right? So it's officially a 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Granito. Hands off instead. The reliable Peter Gerbasi tries to bounce it to the outside, gets a couple of yards. Gerbasi, in our preseason talk with Kevin Dolan was very high on Gerbasi. Said, we have something that we didn't have last year where Tully had to be just that monster of a guy running the ball 20, 30 times a game. He had a very good 1-2 combination between Tully and Gerbasi, and we're seeing it now. Tully gets injured against St. John the Baptist, the ankle injury, which keeps him out of this week's game. He missed the St. Anthony's game. He'll miss next week's game. And Gerbasi has just filled that role almost seamlessly.
Yeah, Chaminade in the last 5 years have had a historic line of running backs. Last year, you had Tully. Year before that, Alakwa. Year before that, Mario Fischetti. The run game has always been consistently great.
Here's Granito. Pump fakes it. Throws it on back foot. That's incomplete.
Granito just looking to not lose yards there. You have to air it out at some point. And, you throw a bit of a wobbler. Didn't really give it a chance. But you're not putting it in harm's way, which was really what mattered on that play.
Yeah, you mentioned Fischetti and Alakwa and Tully. That's kind of your Mount Rushmore, at least of the last, decade or so of Chaminade football. Some terrific running backs for Chaminade. And, and Alakwa, a guy obviously playing on the next level, playing lacrosse. That's one thing that Dolan says he loves is having those lacrosse guys, the athleticism that they bring to the table and their hunger in the football season as well. 3rd and 7 now for the Flyers. Trips right. Granito back to pass. Goes to Park, and he spins just past the chains, and he will get a first down.
That's a really nicely drawn-up play by Chaminade right there. You put Trips on the right side. All of them were running just a few 10-yard curl routes, and then you put Park and ISO on the left. He could do the same exact thing, just enough to move the chains.
Yeah, Park knew exactly where he needed to go. A super smart play by the junior from Flushing. Dolan says he's never met a wide receiver as strong as Park, and he's also strong mentally. He wants to play. He's not sure what it'll be, but he wants to play next-level football. Granito airs it out, looking end zone, some pushing and some shoving, and there's the flag. And this will be a pass interference against Jake Grimm, as the intended target was Peter Braz.
Yeah, and that's an obvious call right there. Grimm was holding Braz the whole way, and Granito, the ball did go a fair amount over their heads, but Braz just had no chance at it with the way he was being held on that one.
So Chris Atchison will make sure that this one gets marched off. You see pass interference against the defense. So this will go half the distance. We'll see it again.
Yeah.
And earlier we saw Grimm do the right play. He was face guarding his man, then turned to the last second, and he knocked it away. This time never turned his head and had hands on the body as well there. So 1st and goal from the 9-yard line for Chaminade.
Something I do kind of want to allude to was that was a really nice play by Braz as well. He didn't throw the hands up a little too early, which was kind of what Park did on the previous one. As now you also see Tim Murphy in on the action for Chaminade, which means we might be going to that left side. You put Trips receivers over there, and they're leaving Park and ISO once more.
Yeah, in Murphy, a guy, we saw him last week, a couple of carries for 9 yards, was in 3 plays and certainly impressed enough, and he'll likely get some more action here at Chaminade. And we saw the dual quarterbacks a year ago, right, with Diegues and Granito as well, and it's not going to be a complete split, obviously, but it's a situational thing for Murphy. Runs the football to the left, has a hole. Murphy, there is a flag, though, so this will likely come off the scoreboard. It was a 9-yard score, but it was Atchison himself who threw the flag, and that was in the backfield, so we expect this one to be a hold. It is on the Flyers.
Yeah, that one was on the left side of the O-line right there. couldn't really get a grasp on if it was the left tackle or the left guard, but either way, there was someone that got shoved completely out of the way in order for Murphy to find his way through. We kind of knew that he was going to go to that left side. I would have loaded that thing up if I was Kellenberg. And Murphy, he had an easy lane with the 3 receivers out in front.
So this will push the ball back to the 20-yard line. Actually, the 19. You're on the inside of the 20. So 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line.
Still Murphy in.
And you see Gerbasi to his right as well. I think it's Battaglia to his left. Murphy calls his own number, pushes forward, dives forward as well. Gets into the 14. Nice gain of 5 for Murphy.
Murphy putting his head down and getting himself in harm's way for a few extras. Now Granito will come back in for the Flyers.
And it's funny, size-wise, really not much difference. Maybe Granito, maybe 10 more pounds or so, but both are 6'2". So they look alike, but obviously different roles for the 2 QBs. Granito not as mobile, so Murphy kind of makes up for that. 2nd and 5 from the 14-yard line. Inside 5 minutes left here. Gerbasi bounces it out, but great job defensively by
Vincenzo Cascone on that play, getting in the backfield.
And Grimm as well. But Cascone, the junior from Seaford, 23 tackles, has been coming on these last few games. Had a tough one against Arlington to start the year, but so did pretty much everyone in those blue jerseys. So Cascone, a guy who's just kind of adjusted to varsity football and the tempo, and he has thrived these last few games. 3rd and 6 for Chaminade from the 15-yard line. Here comes Granito, fires it over the middle. That is incomplete. Good job defensively. Look, that was Kevin McGrory, the senior from East Meadow.
Yeah, no flag on that one either. McGrory kind of hit the hands down of the receiver that was targeted on that play, but Granito does throw him backside a little bit. You'll see it right here. Granito throws over the middle. It was a pretty decent ball. Hands got slapped down. And now looks like we are going to have a field goal attempt from the Flyers.
And this will be a 32-yard attempt from Tomlinson. And we mentioned before, 2 of 5. Kicked a 34-yarder. I think a 32-yarder as well last week against St. Anthony's. Ooh, high snap. And this one's going to get blown up. Let's see if Chaminade can get anything out of this one. Thrown in the air, and that's incomplete.
Yeah,
and the whole flag is thrown as well late, as that was
Mateo Barrio Canal on that one, who had to bounce it out. A really high snap as the holder looked.
We're seeing some issues, right, in that aspect, because it's not Tomlinson. Even the missed PAT, and this is going to go against Chaminade, but it is declined, so Kellenberg will take it over. And again, is it wet turf maybe? I mean, it's the same for both teams, obviously, but it seems like it is affecting the kicking game to this point.
Yeah, especially a long snap where you have to get a lot more technical with it. Tim Battaglia has been a great long snapper for the Flyers this year. You got to think that there's just something getting to it right now. And weather might be the only thing you can really point to.
So the positive, if you're Chaminade there from that field goal attempt that never happened, is that you do at least have the Firebirds push back on their own 15 or their own 14, as Noe got past that 15-yard line to about the 16. Noe, a Monmouth baseball commit. Not as fast, few are, as fast as Devin Page, but he's a guy willing to get those tough yards, as we've seen here in this first half. Go down the middle. But it's a different look from that quarterback position, even though it's a lot of the same scheme.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gain of 3 for Noe and the Firebirds. 2nd and 7 from the 17-yard line. O'Toole in motion. Faked handoff to him. Noe takes it himself, pushes forward, and he will get a first down for the Firebirds.
And that's what's so great about Noe. He's maybe not as much of a willing rusher as you say Page was last year, but still, he's the guy that'll put his head down and move the chains. That's what he does right there. The fake handoff, finds his way through, takes a hit, leans forward for a few extra, and puts Kellenberg in driving position. As now that's Donovan O'Toole who gets crushed on the far side after just getting 2 yards.
Looks like it was Marshall in on the tackle for Chaminade. That's always a safe bet, too, the way that Marshall hits. If it's a guy coming from the secondary, and if the crowd is like, whoa, what a hit, kind of usually a fair bet to say that was Marshall.
Absolutely. Kellenberg have to run this 2-minute drill here, and they got to run it well, going almost all the way down the field. They're on the 27 right now.
Starting to rain here at Mitchell Athletic Complex. The umbrella's coming up in the stands. That's a run up the middle, and the push not coming this time, and a little extra pushing and shoving between the two teams. Thankfully, cooler heads prevail as it's a gain of 3 on second down.
Running the ball isn't really ideal here. Unless Kellenberg's just trying to run this one out, don't put it in harm's way.
They will get the football coming out of halftime. Remember, Chaminade won the toss, and they elected to receive. 3rd and 6 from the 30-yard line for Kellenberg. No, he looks sideline, fires it, and that is complete, and that's moving the chains. Really big play from Noe to Gagan.
That's a beautiful ball by Noe right there, and let's see that one again. Noe looking far side that whole way, progressing through his reads, finds the man he wants, and it is Gagan on the jump ball.
Another big reception from Gagan as the Firebirds will call timeout. Gagan, 6'2", junior from Seaford.
The trio of junior receivers has been phenomenal this year. Gagan, Gala, and Donovan O'Toole. We normally see Noe go to Gala more often, but today it has been all Jack Gagan.
So this game here at Mitchell Athletic Complex, it is the home of the New York Catholic High School Football League Championships, and we are the home for those broadcasts as well, as Varsity Media will stream all of the championships. What a fun afternoon that is here. It's usually pretty chilly, but it is a terrific triple header. The AA2, the AA1, and then the AAA championship under the lights here at Mitchell Athletic Complex. Catch every snap, every play here at currently rainy, stormy Mitchell Athletic. Hey, listen, if it's going to be stormy in November, that could be some good scenes, because that might mean it's going to be a little bit snowy.
Ooh, and I mean, imagine a game here at Mitchell Field with the snow coming down. It's a dream.
Especially from the press box vantage point we have.
that is true, too.
An incomplete pass. O'Toole was the intended target. We've seen these two teams meet as well in the championship. We referred to it earlier, that AA1 championship game. Chaminade technically went back-to-back as AA1 champions. It was separated by that COVID year where no football, no championship football at least, was played. Chaminade beating Kellenberg first in 19, and then in 21 beating Moore Catholic. 2nd and 10, 43 seconds left from the Kellenberg 41-yard line. Quick out. That's Christian DaCosta. We were wondering when we'd see his name called, John, as a timeout is called by Kellenberg. DaCosta, the junior, a transfer from Baldwin, might be the fastest guy in this team. Electric speed, but a different offense to learn, and he's still kind of trying to catch up to all the intricacies, but he's a guy on both sides of the football who can have a big impact for Kellenberg.
Yeah, and that right there, that's DaCosta's first reception of the season. He's a guy that you put him in space and he can get to blasting, but the Baldwin transfer is definitely looking to adjust to this offense as quickly as possible. He could play a huge role for Kellenberg soon enough.
We talked about Kellenberg before. We got a closer look at Kellenberg. Let's take a closer look at Chaminade. Established in 1930. 145 students in that inaugural class. A little bit bigger right now. And, of course, that great athletic fields and the complex. It's Gold Star Stadium. And how about those famous alums? Alphonse D'Amato, the former politician. Al Groh, of course. Former Jets coach, and Bill O'Reilly as well. And John Baccio.
And me.
He didn't make. He was the fourth guy on that list. He was just.
Yeah.
You just missed the cut.
We had to limit it to 3, unfortunately. But other than that, yeah, you could have seen my name there.
So the Kellenberg sideline, they're saying, hey, push back a little bit. We know you guys are excited. A 3rd and 7. The Kellenberg Firebirds, they converted on their last 3rd down as it was a pass to Gagan. Let's see what you can do here in the final 36 seconds of this opening half. DaCosta in motion. He'll get the handoff, nearly fumbled it, tries the end around, but it's read well by the Flyers. Yeah, and DaCosta was hit really not much there as he was taken out at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, Chaminade have been shut down right here in this drive. Outside of one really nice pass from Noe to Gagan earlier on, they've been locking it down on the defensive side of the ball.
Time winding down. I'm not sure if Kellenberg will need to run a play. They might. It's going to be really close. They will, as Noe rolls right. Look out. He's got Flyers coming all around him. This will be a completed pass. It will be Gagan again, but that was the final play of the first half. So the big plays in this one by the visitors from Mineola, as Chaminade have come up with some big defensive plays. They've turned those to points, and they will take a 14-0 lead into the half. You're watching this New York Catholic High School Football League AAA Showdown presented by Stretch Flow right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Kyle Collier. I'm the owner of Stretch Flow and the developer of the Stretch Flow system. We're very excited to announce that we have partnered with Varsity Media to help the next generation of high school athletes to recover faster, perform better, and make more plays. Our Stretch Flow system has been developed and tested over thousands of hours with real-world athletes. Our technique uses assisted stretch, soft tissue therapy, and targeted muscle recovery to provide a relaxing, stress-free experience that returns your body back to ideal function so you can stay on the field and win. We know sports are tough, so stay in peak performance and condition with Stretch Flow. You can message us directly on Instagram at stretch_flow, or you can call us at 516-336-9627. But make sure you use the code VM-FLOW to receive your $49 introductory session.
Hello everybody, I'm Jared Veluzzi, and joined alongside me, the quarterback at Kellenberg, Kenny Noe. And Kenny, going into this season, you guys started off 0-2, but you've won 3 straight games. What's been working so well for you all?
I think we kind of just found our flow a little bit. We didn't really click at the beginning. We're a whole new group. I didn't even play football last year. I'm new. I didn't play varsity football last year, and coming into quarterback, it's just getting to know the guys. It's getting to know the receivers, getting to know the line, it's getting to know the running backs, getting to know the defense, and what works for them. And I think when we played prep in week 3, we kind of just clicked. We found out what worked and we stuck with it. And that's what we've been doing. The energy is amazing before games. It's crazy. Just the speeches, the coaches, everything's clicking right now. And honestly, I don't really know who can stop us at this point.
Yeah, and now you guys got Chaminade, big rivalry game. I mean, what does that one mean to you, and what's the atmosphere like at school?
I mean, since my freshman year, we've played Chaminade a handful of times, and it's been a rivalry JV year. We beat them in the semifinal championship to go to the championship. Last year, I was there at the game as a fan last year, and we lost to Chaminade to end the year, and that was definitely heartbreaking to see some of my guys who are now graduated lose like that. So I think it's I don't want to say it's personal, but it's definitely bigger than anything we've done so far. Just to get revenge for the guys who can't play high school football at Kellenberg anymore, and for the guys who next year need that extra motivation, that maybe not the revenge game, but to keep it going.
Yeah, and you guys get them at home, 5 o'clock. And one thing I've noticed at your home games, The student section is electric. I saw some fireworks last week after you beat St. Joe's by the Sea. I mean, what's it like playing at home?
I mean, Mitchell Field's amazing. Like, just the whole student section and that whole area is crazy. Like, we're called the 12th man for a reason. We have a name for our student section. We get a ton of guys at games. We have leaders of the student section who get the fans going. We get the parents interacted, the grandparents, everyone. It's amazing. And that definitely helps with just the morale of everything. If you get the good student section, like, the morale's just up and just get going. It's amazing.
That's awesome. And now we'll get into some rapid fire questions. In your opinion, what's the best pizzeria on Long Island?
Montana Brothers in Freeport. It's amazing.
What's your favorite movie quote of all time?
I'm gonna have to go Batman, The Dark Knight Rises. It's gonna be You Merely Adopted the Dark, I Was Born in It by Bane.
After a big win, what's the first song that you want to play?
So it's actually gonna be a Lil Uzi Vert song called 444 plus 222. It gets the team going.
That's awesome. Well, Kenny, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Everyone, thanks for watching. Back over to you guys.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream media partner of Nassau County Playoffs. For semifinal and championship coverage of soccer, volleyball, field hockey, and football, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Varsity Media is the home for New York high school sports.
We welcome you back here to Mitchell Athletic Field. It is halftime, and it is Chaminade with a 14-0 lead over Kenny Noe and the Firebirds. Great stuff there by Jared Veluzzi, catching up with Kenny during the week. Dylan Butler, John Baccio with you here inside. We are dry here in the at least some of us are dry in the press box. There might be some leaky roofs here as well, but kind of as expected, right? That physical, hard-fought, tight matchup in the first half, but it kind of feels a little bit, unless there's some adjustments made at halftime, it feels like Chaminade's starting to wear Kellenberg down. That physicality, especially defensively, are really leading to some big plays.
Yeah, and I think that last drive was very telling of that. We saw Kellenberg was kind of brought down every single play. You had a few ones here and there that were nice from the Firebirds, but overall it was Chaminade dominating every play, getting into the backfield, getting to screen plays quick and easy. I mean, they were even dominating coverage on their attempted pass plays. That it really showed Chaminade's the grittier team in this action, at least.
And considering how both of these teams have struggled offensively, it really feels like the next score, however it goes, is going to be critical.
Oh, absolutely.
If it's Chaminade and you take a 21-0 lead, I don't know if Kellenberg's come back from that. But if the Firebirds come out and they do get the ball to come out, if they make it 14-7, game on.
Yeah, and the big thing with Chaminade has been the points that they've been putting up. They've already topped their total from last game. And, I mean, a pick six is always going to help with that. That one coming from Will Hanley, and that was a really nice play, picking up on the Kellenberg miscues, as always.
We'll get to those plays in a minute, but first let's take a look at some of the first half stats. And some similarities here as well, right? Not a lot separating these two teams. See Chaminade with a slight edge in the rushing game, especially behind Peter Gerbasi. It's Kellenberg with a slight edge in the passing game. First downs, not much separation. Even in the penalties, pretty similar.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an even game at heart. What really has just been coming through is Chaminade is making the plays that they need to make, and Kellenberg, from time to time, is not.
And we'll take a look at a couple of those big... Oh, look at that, a rainbow. Look at that. I knew it was going to come. Not the double rainbow I was hoping for, but... When we went to break, I'm like, is that the lights there on the building across the way or the sun? The sun's out, the rain's out. It's perfect rainbow weather.
Only thing coming in right now is wind, and that's about it. But, I mean, pretty shot right there.
That is awesome. So Kellenberg, listen, they were threatening, but a big defensive play led to this as Granito airs it out, finding Lavellis in the end zone for a 13-yard score. The PAT was no good, as there was a little bit of a botched snap on that. So it was only a 6-0 lead for Chaminade at that point, but they would extend it as Will Hanley. Here you see Noe ranging. He tries to go back across his body. Little wobbly pass, and Hanley picks it off. Looks like that was from 35 yards, I believe. 35 yards. The only question is whether he got in or not. There was some discussion. He did. And then the Flyers would tack on those points missed from the PAT. They got Murphy running it in for a 2-point conversion, and that is the 14-0 lead for Chaminade.
Some big plays from the lead in this one.
What's on the other side of that rainbow? Chaminade, never mind the pot of gold, they hope a win is on the other side. Let's find out here in the next few minutes. We'll take a quick break, and we'll have the start of the second half of this New York Catholic High School Football League AAA Showdown, presented by Stretchflow right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable, and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
Moore take the kickoff inside the 5 and now has a seam. All ahead, gets the blocks. Great field position for the Friars. Kevin Moore to the house. 95 yards. St. Anthony's.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media.
We're back here at Mitchell Athletic Complex in Uniondale. Dylan Butler, John Baccio, our entire Varsity Media crew, as halftime winding up, third quarter coming up, and it is the Flyers trying to break out of their 0-4 start. They've got a 2-touchdown lead over the rival Firebirds of Kellenberg. It's a big weekend for us at Varsity Media. We shift gears tomorrow afternoon. We head out east to West Islip for a fun one. This is a matchup of a AAA team in Farrell and a team in St. John the Baptist. You could argue is either the favorite or maybe the second favorite in AA1 this year. Some great athletes. Both teams really bring it defensively. That should be a lot of fun from West Islip. Opening kickoff there will be 1:30. It'll be myself and Jared Veluzzi on the call. And we've got a bunch of fun ones coming up here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Hey, Farrell should just stay on Long Island, right? Why make the trip back to Staten Island? Get a local hotel, some remote classes, because they have to go out to South Huntington on Friday night, a second consecutive trip. We'll have that one Friday night. We'll have the next Cougars game as well, and they'll take on Holy Trinity. That's going to be a fun one, man, out over in Hicksville. Those two programs, not a lot of love lost there as well. And Phil Alba, the St. John the Baptist coach, saying, listen, a couple years ago on our homecoming, on the Cougars homecoming, Trinity kind of blasted them. So they're looking to seek the same results as they head to Hicksville to take on the Titans. You got Hills West and Smithtown West. That'll be a Friday night contest. And Southside, off that big win over Wantagh, they take on Plain Edge, the defending champs. And it's always fun when Massapequa and Farmingdale lock horns, and they will do so on October 21st at 2 o'clock, and we'll have that game right here on Varsity Media. That's a fun slate of games, John Baccio.
Oh, absolutely. The one that catches my eye most, Massapequa Farmingdale. Always a fun little rivalry. Reminds me of last year, even in the Nassau County Youth Football League Championships. 12 and 13U were both Massapequa versus Farmingdale.
Great to see, too, Farmingdale's first home game. It was homecoming last night, and obviously the horrible tragedy and the bus crash with the band. Great to see the band back on the field, and some emotional moments there for the Dalers, and really good to see not only the Farmingdale community coming together, but really the entire Long Island community showing both in terms of contributions monetarily, but also just their support as well of Farmingdale during this time of loss.
Yeah, absolutely. A great moment. And it was awesome to see Long Island truly come together for something so tragic.
So second half, Kellenberg will get the ball coming out. They trail this one 14-0, and as we said at halftime, the next points scored will be massive. If Kellenberg can get it, and for them, why not try to get it on their first possession? They are right back in this one. Not that they're not in it now, but if Chaminade maybe gets a stop and they score, now 21 points, that's going to be a tough hill to climb for the Firebirds.
That's why even that last drive heading into the break was crucial, because if they could have put some points on the board, then come back out here with another drive, it would have been great.
Tomlinson, a few TBs on the other side. This time, this one will be returned from the 1 yard line. Just the second one. And that's the good guy to get the return, too. It's Acosta, but really doesn't. What does he get? Maybe 1 extra yard. And actually, no, they'll put it at the 20. So it's the same as if it would have been 1 yard deeper into the end zone.
Great play, same result, though, is now Kellenberg, the offense is going to come right back out on the field. And after a nice little break, it'll be good to get right back into the swing of things.
Eric Meissy, in our conversation, we asked about a little bit of turnaround, right? He said it was the second half of that Bishop Hendrickson game, the second game that they played. They had a terrible second quarter, the Firebirds did. Gave up a long TD. They fumbled a snap on a punt. They threw an INT. Down 21 at the half. They still lost that game, but he liked the resolve that he saw from his football team in the second half. They've won 3 games since. Will it be a similar situation for the Firebirds in the second half as it's Noe Good push by those big dudes up front. And what would have maybe been a gain of 1 is a few more on first down.
And I referenced it earlier, but the offensive linemen for this team, a lot of them 2-time starters, couple juniors, couple seniors on the line. But they know how to definitely get the push forward, get the run game going, which is what Kellenberg thrives in.
Yeah, Ian Aselli, a senior at left tackle from East Meadow, 2-year starter, that prototypical left tackle, a gain of 6. Here's a quick out. Gala drops the football, but that's an incomplete pass. Lucky for him because Gianni on the spot again was Hanley.
Hanley all over the place in this game, had the yick 6 earlier. And now, I mean, he would have had a fumble recovery with ease right there, picking up on the miscue.
I think despite the really terrible weather, I'm impressed by the student turnout here on a Saturday early evening. Kellenberg fans, they are situated to the right of our press box, opposite the Chaminade students, and pretty good contingent there. Pass over the middle. That's complete for our first down, and more right out to midfield. Big first down play for Chaminade, and it was big number 88 making the reception.
Yeah, Luke Chernosky right there, found in the middle of the field with no one around him, and Chaminade able to make a nice open field tackle. That was Danny Landrum that tracked him down, but Kellenberg they're moving.
And they're going to move back as well, it would appear, as Chris Atchison said it was a full start. Was about to say they're playing with some tempo here, looking to maybe push the tempo, and maybe they push it a little bit too fast.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see. After a big play like that, it just gets all shut down with a flag.
Chernosky, who made that reception, first reception of the year, 6'2", 175, tight end. That prototypical tight end, but listen, the ball, Eric Meisey said, is in his court. The more that he learns the playbook, the more it will open up for him. Here's a quick out to Gala. Makes the catch, spins, turns, and he's hammered by Eamon Welsh.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you didn't want to see on that play right there. Chaminade getting to the screen quickly with ease and shutting it down immediately, because now all that momentum for Kellenberg that we had just built up through the last few sequences, it's done.
So 2nd and 11 for the Firebirds. And we'll check the play.
Kellenberg, you got to go pass here. Little bit downfield, still just 2nd down.
No, he says, I got this one. Tries to range forward. Good leg tackle there by the Flyers, which will set up a long 3rd down now.
And now look what happens. You don't go pass, you go run instead. You only get 2 yards on it. And now you've effectively the same play coming up, 3rd and 11 versus 3rd and 9. So now you really have to go to the pass game.
The main target all year has been Brendan Gala for Kenny Noe. But Gagan, we've seen in this game too, come up with some big chain-moving plays. Does he have another one in his arsenal? Let's see here. 3rd and 9. Low snap. There's the out. Chernosky, it looks like it was again, but he's well short of the first down marker, taken down at about the 47 of the Flyers. So the punt unit will come out and we'll play some field position now.
And this is still going to be a deep punt for Clive Smith. Looking to get Chaminade as far back as possible. Going to need a friendly little roll on this one. He's punting from about the 38.
Yeah, too deep for Chaminade, and they're both situated at about the 12-yard line. Punt is off, end over end. It is fielded back at the 10-yard line. And not much of a return there as Quiros made the tackle for Kellenberg. As now Chaminade will make their way back on the field. And Tyler Granito will lead his men there.
Chaminade, a big drive coming up. If you score a touchdown on this one, we wrote kind of alluding to it a little bit at the break, but if you get a touchdown here, this one might be out of reach. A 21-0 score is never something that you want to mess with. And Kellenberg, with the way their offense is played, coming up empty on every single offensive drive so far, this one could put it away.
Speaking of empty, that's the backfield right now for Granito. Trips right. This time the end around handoff, trying to find an inside route, nothing doing. Great pursuit to the football by a host of Firebirds there.
I believe that was John Carroll on the rushing attempt from the Flyers. But, I mean, Kellenberg was just all over it. Nowhere to go on that play for the Navy baseball commit.
Yeah, Carroll, they'll call it a no gain on that play. I got to hit up Carroll. I've got a wedding to go to down in Annapolis in June. I wonder if he knows some good places for crab cakes.
You know what? I think so. I actually was a parish religious education teacher with John Carroll in high school.
2nd and 10 from the 22-yard line. This time the handoff, breaking a tackle, pushing himself forward. Nice gain there by Gerbasi. Gerbasi reminds Dolan a little bit of Jack Tully from a year ago. He's got that ability to climb the ladder, to change his speeds and get those extra yards. A guy who last year just tore it up on the JV. But there was a book on him that said he didn't have good hands. Well, he's worked on that this season. 4 receptions for 13 yards playing big boy football.
And you would have even seen as soon as Chaminade got out here today in warm-ups, first thing that Gerbasi got to working on was his receptions.
3rd and 8 from the 24-yard line. Granito, plenty of time, goes over the middle, and this one is forced. And that is a pass interference and one that didn't need to be called. It was an underthrown pass, and Gagan will be called for the pass interference, but an unfortunate one for the Firebirds.
Yeah, and Granito really gave that one no chance of getting caught, but on the way back, I mean, it's just a silly penalty once again from the Firebirds, and you'll see Granito fire deep downfield here. It
was into double coverage as well, right? So that was never going to get to Dietrich.
No, Dietrich has some serious speed, and I guess Granito underestimated it right there.
So you go from a Tomlinson punt, and Tomlinson's a very good punter, but a Tomlinson punt deep in his own zone to now moving the chains. A 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line.
Chaminade in their first offensive drive of the first half, they came up empty and had to punt from about this same position.
Handoff up the middle. And again, you get those big guys up front to make the push. They will get you those extra yards, as it was Gerbasi, again, getting right out to that Nassau County logo at midfield.
And, I mean, this is an incredible offensive line for the Flyers this year. Nick Rinaldi in the middle, Lucas Cottagio on the left side, and Gerbasi pounds his way through exactly where those two guys are located.
Look at Noah Trauma, 55, right? As soon as he heard Gerbasi in front of him, he's like, let's go. Just pushing himself forward, making sure that the Flyers move the chains. Low snap, and Granito's got to push forward, and even there, he gets a couple of yards. So he's not the quote-unquote mobile quarterback, but needing to there. And it's actually Murphy, my apologies, and he is the mobile quarterback. So perhaps the fact that it was a run there, obviously I should have realized it was Murphy, but a 3-yard gain on 1st down.
And the funniest part of this whole dynamic to me with the Chaminade run game is that Murphy can sling the ball too. He's a big physical guy, but he's a baseball player at heart. He can really throw the rock, but he's always in that Chaminade scheme as a Wildcat player.
That's what I would do if I was Kevin Dolan Jr. At some point, have Murphy just throw the football and make teams second-guess themselves. That won't make it to the 1st down marker, but a really good catch on the play. Looked like that was Chaminade, 85. Oh, excuse me, 89.
Yeah, that was Lavellis, who had the touchdown earlier on in the game, and that was a nice one from Lavellis. Ran a corner route, back left corner of the end zone, and Granito found him in space.
Lavellis, 6'5", senior from Garden City. was a guy who was a little bit buried on the depth chart a year ago and really worked himself into becoming an everyday starter. 3rd and 2. The push up the middle by Murphy, and he will move the chains, taken down at about the 37-yard line.
Tim Murphy getting right back to work there.
Murphy points out where he's going, and then he gets to the bench quickly.
Hey, there's no need. You're a one-run wonder. And I mean,
he's charge too, Gerbasi.
Pushing right there. Yeah, Gerbasi out in front. And Gerbasi almost plays like that old-timey fullback. He's a big body. He can get downhill fast, and he can definitely take on a few guys in the blocking game.
1st and 10 from the 37-yard line as the Flyers just methodically move. This time Granito will go deep, looking for a target, and it's in and out of the hands of Park. Good coverage there by DaCosta.
We've seen Granito miss on a few deep balls today. That one was right on the money. Just a tough play from Park. And you got to think the rain on those gloves can't be helping.
DaCosta, a really good cover corner. You see it again. Watch number 1. Reads it, just makes life difficult. Didn't get a piece of the ball, but made it hard enough that Park couldn't get the ball.
Yeah, that one put right in the breadbasket, and a mix of the coverage and the ball slipping out of Park's hands definitely made it tough.
2nd and 10 from the 37-yard line. And here come the Firebirds. They show blitz. Gerbasi pushes forward to about the 35. It'll be a gain of 2, which will set up a 3rd and 8.
And it's still early, but this clock just keeps on ticking. The time for Kellenberg to come back keeps on diminishing. Again, still early in this game. A lot could change in about 18 minutes and change. But Chaminade are really keeping possession of the ball. They're moving it well, and now they have a long 3rd down conversion to make to keep it going.
And considering the conditions, too, you wonder if this is 4-down territory for the Flyers. There's a draw up the middle. And that looked... It was Gerbasi. See Gittins, 77, in the junior from West Hempstead. Started pretty much all last year, that nose tackle, 14 tackles coming in to this game.
And although it didn't look like much, you even got to give some credit to Gerbasi right there, making something out of nothing. The hesitation on that play was perfect, and the agility put on full display to give them 5, and now they have about a 4th and 5 to convert here.
They're officially a 4th and 4 from the 31-yard line. Big play here for both teams. Granito back to pass. Plenty of time. Slings it. That's a 1st down and more.
And it's Lavellis again. That's been the target all day for Tyler Granito. The Grinnell College offer has been playing out of his mind today. Coming into today, only 1 reception the entire season, but Granito has just been loving number 89, so he gets him on the 1st down right there.
That's the thing, too, that Lavellis has that nobody in that Kellenberg secondary has is that size, right? 6'5". You look at the starting secondary, it's 6'2" in Grimm. That's good size. Gagan 6'2" as well, but DaCosta 5'8", McGrory 5'11". 1st and 10 from the 20. Over the middle, looking end zone, turning, catching the ball. Touchdown for Chaminade. 20-yard touchdown pass.
Peter Braz on the end of it, and that's a great play. His 7th reception of the year and his 2nd touchdown. The all-around athlete found back left corner. As Granito, what a throw under pressure, sticks to the pocket and finds Braz in the back left.
So those students across the way liking what they're seeing there.
Tomlinson missed his first PAT earlier. Then it was a 2-point conversion, so can he knock down his 2nd attempt of the day?
And that kick is up, and it is good. So a 21-0 lead for Chaminade. And the Flyers, one thing that's unique about the Flyers now, in addition to a new OC, you've got a guy going both ways in Timmy Battaglia, who we've not seen in Kevin Dolan's 8 years. And let's meet number 9, Timmy Battaglia. We saw his brother, of course, a big part of last year. Let's get to know Timmy a little bit. Favorite football weather? He wants that blizzard. He wants the snow accumulated. He wants the driving snow, and let's get out and play. Listen, huge props, Timmy. Considering the current climate, going to a Halloween party in a Travis Kelce jersey is the move. And his least favorite road on Long Island, probably yours as well. It's Jericho Turnpike with all the traffic.
Ugh. I don't even want to think about Jericho Turnpike right now. Too many long days spent on Jericho. But, I mean, Timmy, love the idea behind tight end wearing a tight end's jersey, but can we get a little more creative here? Just a Travis Kelce jersey to throw on?
I give him the props for that. Like, I don't know his situation. I don't know if he's single, if he's in a relationship, but if he's not, and maybe he wants to meet
who's his
wearing something with Taylor Swift, go for it.
Yeah, who's his Taylor Swift this Halloween? Who knows?
Maybe we'll find out in a future broadcast.
Now they have to hold the ball on this kick,
which means that it won't go in the end zone. This is, it has to be recovered here. Who has it? It took a bounce towards the Flyers, and Chaminade has the football.
John Marshall, the heads-up play to pick it up. And he gets mobbed on the sideline. A huge play from Chaminade in a game that already seems a little bit out of reach. They have a chance to put another 7 on the board.
As soon as that ball took a bounce and it bounced back towards Chaminade, you knew that Kellenberg was like, oh no.
It was an ugly, ugly bounce that Chaminade just knew how to pounce at. And who would have thought Tomlinson's worst kick of the day turns into his best?
We mentioned in the keys to the game, and if we get a chance maybe after this series to revisit them, I think you could probably check off all of them for Chaminade at this point. And now the Flyers will go for the jugular. Trips left. We're going to hand off, and a little bit of trickery now. Looking end zone. Jump ball, and that's incomplete. Grimm thought he had it for Kellenberg, and he made a great defensive play. But hey, I like this too, right? You've got some a fresh set of downs, and you just get a big turnover. Why not go for it?
And if it's any wide receiver that could throw it, it would be John Carroll. The baseball player, the lefty, tries getting it downfield, but just couldn't get it deep enough to Chaminade.
Maybe that's a little bit of the new trickery out of the Kevin Dolan Jr. playbook. Second game as the OC. Taking over for Dad. 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. Now we go more traditional. Run up the middle, breaking tackles, pushing forward, and a late flag as well. Gerbasi got the push, and some physicality on the right side, and an extra flag as well.
The junior running back just loves the contact. He eats it up and rushes for a few extra there on what seems like a 2-yard run. He gets 8.
And as loud as day, you can hear the "you can't do that" chant. We're going to have offsetting personal fouls on both teams. I think it was Kellenberg that got the first, and maybe Chaminade that got the second. Regardless, a nice run there. And they'll finally move the chains, or not move the chains, at least move the down marker to where it should be off that play.
Yeah, we got a 3rd and 3 coming up here.
And already inside the final minute of this third quarter. Chaminade a 21-0 lead, looking for more as they also look for their first win of the season. Murphy finds the seam, right side, cuts it inside. And he's down at the 11, and that will move the chains for Chaminade.
Big play from Murphy right there, who's been seeing a lot of action today.
there was an injured Firebird player on the play, which gives us an opportunity, John, to revisit those keys. If we had a telestrator for you, you can put a little check mark next to them. Consistency on offense, what do you think?
Oh, I mean, they've been consistent as day.
Check. They have forced Kellenberg, I think, right, to throw the football.
I'd say so. We can check that one, too.
And especially considering that last play for Chaminade, the kickoff recovery, which sets them up here for a potential game-sealing touchdown. You could check the excellence on special teams, I think, as well. Kellenberg, have they forced Chaminade? I think Chaminade has steadily run the football. They've thrown it too, but they've not been forced to throw it, I don't think. Limit mistakes, no, has been the case for the Firebirds, as you see, especially there on specials. And the field position battle has been slanted to Chaminade. So.
Yeah, absolutely, especially after the field position of that kickoff puts them on the 25 to start a drive. Unfortunately, as of right now, it's looking like 3 checks and 3 X's for this tail of the tape.
And also you lose Noah Foster, at least for the time being. He was the injured Kellenberg player, so that's one of your starting DNs. So we'll likely see Connor Everett, the junior from Seaford, to come in for him. A 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line here for Chaminade. From the 6. 1st and goal from the 6. As Murphy lowers the shoulder, inches towards the end zone, stopped at the 2.
That's still a great play from Chaminade right there. Murphy getting a ton of touches here on the goal line, and he does motion toward the sideline. Will he be going?
Well, we'll find out after this break, because that will do it for the third quarter. And Chaminade gets the only score of that third quarter, but they're 2 yards away from punching the ball in again. You're watching this New York Catholic High School Football League AAA Showdown, presented by Stretch Flow right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Hey everyone, I'm Kyle Collier. I'm the owner of Stretch Flow and the developer of the Stretch Flow system. We're very excited to announce that we have partnered with Varsity Media to help the next generation of high school athletes to recover faster, perform better, and make more plays. Our Stretch Flow system has been developed and tested over thousands of hours with real-world athletes. Our technique uses assisted stretch, soft tissue therapy, and targeted muscle recovery to provide a relaxing, stress-free experience that returns your body back to ideal function so you can stay on the field and win. We know sports are tough, so stay in peak performance and condition with Stretch Flow. You can message us directly on Instagram at stretch_flow, or you can call us at 516-336-9627. But make sure you use the code VM-FLOW to receive your $49 introductory session.
We're back here at Mitchell Athletic Complex, where it's Chaminade with a 21-0 lead, looking to make it even more. It's a field that Chaminade has had some big wins on in recent years. Certainly 2 championship wins over Moore Catholic and against these Firebirds as well. And John Baccio looking for a big one here as well to maybe ignite their season here at 0-4.
Absolutely, yes. Chaminade they've done it on this field before. They could do it again today as Murphy's lining up.
And Murphy scoring. That's a 2-yard touchdown run for Murphy, and we've seen him more and more in this game. Was impressive against St. Anthony's, and now gets the 2-yard touchdown run for the Flyers.
And that is just a beautiful play from Chaminade. Textbook football in Wildcat formation. You put Tim Battaglia and Peter Gerbasi in the backfield. You put them behind the entire Chaminade O-line. Easy does it as Murphy gets in to make it 27, looking for 28-0.
So 2-yard touchdown run for Murph. Let's see if they've cleaned up. High snap. Tomlinson gets it down, and that kick is good. So 28-0 lead here, early goings of the fourth quarter for the Chaminade team. And we said it last year, right? 0-3 start. You play Hayes, and that kind of changed things for the Flyers. You see the schedule up ahead. Listen, there are heavy hitters, and that's what you get when you play AAA football. But you got your home for Moore Catholic, your last home game of the year. You're playing a Stepinac team that we just saw lost as well. And then you go to Hayes as well, the game that will be played at Columbia University. So it's a difficult road, but momentum is a funny thing, right? You get it here, you get a win, you feel good, practice is great, and maybe you can go on a run here in the second half of the season.
Absolutely, and Chaminade have struggled against a team like Stepinac in the past, but all the, Moore Catholic and Cardinal Hayes are both winnable games at the end of the day. Stepinac the same, still a winnable game. It's just a matter of momentum building up, and it was an 0-3 start last year to what ended up being a phenomenal season. It's only a matter of time for these Chaminade Flyers.
They ended up going 5-5 on the season, beating Kellenberg in that incredible quarterfinal win, and then they lost to rival St. Anthony's. Of course, the Friars went on and won the championship, as well as maybe for Timmy Battaglia, some Taylor Swift being played here after the score. 28-0 is the lead, and that will not be returned. Firebirds, let's take a look at what their schedule looks after this rivalry game. And it was a season for Kellenberg that started with that loss to Arlington and then Bishop Hendrickson. Now, Bishop Hendrickson, the only loss they've had this year was to Monsignor Farrell. So they've been playing great football. Up ahead is you go into Stepinac, you're playing Iona, and you're playing Farrell. So a similar road, right, for both of these Marianist schools, but a difficult one there for the Firebirds.
Yeah, it'll be a tough rebound. But who's to say this game can't be completed?
O'Toole, quick out. A short gain there for Donovan O'Toole, the junior from Long Beach. Another kind of quick hitter guy on the smaller side, but he has been big in the Firebirds screen game this year, which has, of course, been a great compliment to the run game. Gain of 4 for O'Toole. 2nd and 6. This time Noe rolls right, steps back, goes long, fires it deep, and that is incomplete.
Marshall, beautiful coverage on that play. That is Donovan O'Toole. Didn't use the hands at all, left it there. And the ball from Noe was way out of bounds. Not to say that Marshall knew that was the case when it was coming in, but he saw Donovan O'Toole hugging the sideline, looking for the pass. He decides to just basically put his hands behind and let that play go to work.
3rd and 6 for Kellenberg, and it is getting late early here as day turns to night. 3rd and 6 from their own 24-yard line. Fake handoff, quick out to Gala, drops the football. It has been a difficult day at the office for Brendan Gala, the junior from Floral Park.
Gala, I don't believe, has a single reception on the day.
He's
rather just one.
But he has been targeted a few times, a couple of drops as well.
Yeah, Gagan's been the primary receiver, the go-to guy for Noe in this offense.
And at this point, you've got to go, if you're Kellenberg, down 4 scores, a 4th and 6, maybe trying to get a hard count. The Chaminade defense, though, has been really disciplined today. They're not going to fall for that. Fake handoff. Noe goes deep looking for Gala, and that is caught. So right after the drop, a terrific catch from Brendan Gala to move the chains.
And what a play that was. An insane catch from Brendan Gallo with coverage all over him.
And this time a handoff. Nice gain there on 1st down as well. Looked like it was Nick Kramer, but here is that previous play.
Danny Landrum draped over Brendan Gallo, but it just doesn't matter. Great ball, great catch from number 4.
2nd and 6. Another run. Look at this, a shifty one as well. This will move the chains. Good looking run by Kramer, the junior from Howard Beach.
Barkley gets a majority of the carries in this offense, but never fret. Nick Kramer is always there when he's not.
And a late flag as well. Chris Atchison has the face mask call. So this will tack on to that first down run. And let's see, I think it's just the 5-yard variety. Or is it a 15? It'll be on the 32-yard line of Chaminade.
Seems like Kramer got pretty close to that mark.
So for the first time really all game, Firebirds are cooking right now offensively. And Noe goes deep looking for Gala. This one is incomplete, but the flag is thrown. This will go against Landrum, and that's been a fun individual matchup. And Gala got the best of him early with that catch, and this time does as well. This will be a pass interference against Landrum, the junior from Franklin Square.
Funny to see how Landrum, cornerback 2 basically in this defense, is being put on Brendan Gala this entire game, and it's been a fun matchup between the two going back and forth. But especially on this drive, we've seen why Gala has been the wide receiver 1, making some big plays and forcing Danny Landrum right here to get a little handsy on it.
So an easy call there by the official. 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. 9:58 left, 4th quarter. But pretty much going forward, Kellenberg's in a 2-minute drill. Noe hands off. There's another nice looking run. And again, it's Kramer. You can see the difference in the way that Kramer and Barkley run. Barkley's more between the tackles, and Kramer likes to bounce it to the outside. Good compliment in the running game for Kellenberg.
Absolutely. And then you got your own quarterback, Kenny Noe, who can take it anywhere on the field. So a lot of different things getting thrown at the Chaminade defense, but they've dealt with it really well all day.
2nd and 4. Oh, and definitely some movement there on Kellenberg. A lot of movement on that offensive line. But back to Kramer. He's a guy who was on that linebacker depth chart early in the season, but again, we saw the depth that they have there and the need perhaps there at running back. So flipped over to the offense, and he has shown a lot of promise. This is probably the best that he has run the football. 14 carries, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the season. This is 2nd and 11 now from the 18-yard line. Kramer moves to Noe's right hip, and now back to his left. Noe looks for Gala again, finds him, but in and out of the hands. Gala had the step on Landrum, but again, dropped the football.
He had more than a step. Gala had all day a good foot or 2 off of Landrum right there, and that got put right in the breadbasket. Tough break for Kellenberg, who looked to just get 1 touchdown on the board.
3rd and 11 for the Firebirds. Gala, we mentioned in the beginning, one of our players to watch. 15 receptions, 270 and 4 touchdowns. He also has rushed for 2 scores on the year. Eric Micey would love to see him get another touchdown. O'Toole in motion. It's Noe calling his own number, pushes forward, dives towards that first down marker. And he will move the chains for a 1st and goal.
And this has been a great drive from Kellenberg so far. You even had a 4th down conversion mixed in there, but you've really seen Kenny Noe get into the swing of things here. And although it may be a little late to be swinging into things now, still, it's a great play to keep this momentum going and get Kellenberg potentially on the board.
Kramer breaks the first tackle, taken down, though, by Welsh at about the 5-yard line. Gain of 2. But even on that previous play, Noe did a great job just selling the handoff, and one of the defenders for Chaminade bid on that, and it allowed him a little more room to maneuver. 2nd and goal from the 5. Noe, nothing doing there. Right into the teeth of that defense. Again, Welsh right there. I think we saw Dean Schmidt, number 33, involved in the tackle. It's a tackle for a no gain. Actually, a loss of 2 on the play.
And in all honesty, that's okay for Kellenberg right now. You have one setback. Now you have a 3rd down where you're, no matter what, probably going to go for it on 4th if it does get to that point.
No, he rolls right. Gets a nice block by Kramer. Tries to take it himself, angling himself towards that sideline, but he is forced out. Might be about the 5 or the 6. So a gain, all of that really for just 1 yard.
All the offensive Firebirds looking towards the sideline here.
Yeah, they're looking for an answer. Kellenberg looking for a spark here in the 4th quarter. They need to get in the end zone here. No first downs to be had on 4th and goal. End zone, touchdown. And it was Gagan, the 5-yard touchdown reception.
A risky play call when you need to put points on the board is a delay fade back right. But, I mean, it works out right there for the big body Gagan. Heading into today, a big target, and he's been an even bigger one in this game. Danny Landrum, great coverage, but Gagan, jump ball, back shoulder, great throw and catch from the Firebirds to finally put themselves on the board here with just 7:20 in the 4th.
Now the PAT by Cunningham is up, and it is good. So 28-7 is the lead. We got to know Timmy Battaglia earlier, and of course we'll show you a Firebird as well to get to know. It is Devin Binkley, his favorite Halloween. This was heavily debated here in the booth before the start of the game. He's going Starbucks. I'm the Snickers guy. You're not a Snickers guy. What we all are in agreement is the best bagel, or is it the best? But certainly one of the best is My Three Sons. That's a great call by him. Hoodie or zip up? Binks is more that hoodie guy.
Oh, you know what? I like all 3 of these picks. Favorite Halloween candy for me, I'm a Twix kid at heart, just the way it's always gone. My Three Sons, it's right down the block for me. How can I not agree with Binkley on that one? And hoodies are always the move. Sorry guys, just the way it goes.
Oh, hoodie is the move, especially in the fall, right? So we are in agreement that we're not agreeing with the Starburst, but we just come from a different perspective there. The chocolate Halloween candy.
Exactly. Yeah, we're both basically on the same stick.
And the great thing is that you'll learn in your future, if you become a father, the great thing is you've got control there of the Halloween. Like, before your son or daughter gets it, you can kind of pick out your favorites, pocket them, and they can get the rest. Here we go, a little onside kick, little pooch, and it is recovered by Chaminade. So the Flyers there, too, getting it done on the other side of specials as well, right? They got their own trickery play, and this time it's Brian Knapp picking up the football.
Textbook play from Chaminade right there, and now they are just going to run this ball into the ground. Take as much time off the clock as they possibly can in this drive. Just got to continue to move the chains, which has been the biggest thing that they've done all day. And, I mean, Chaminade heading into today, the offense was the biggest question. And they've proved that they have the ability to put up points. And this is the most they've had all season.
Yeah, Dolan said there was really no panic after 0-4. He said with this group, he says what he likes about these guys is he feels like he's being heard by them every single game. And he said he feels in his gut there's something exciting waiting to happen for this team as there's the run up the middle. And he says, listen, if it comes to fruition and we're hanging around at the end, a lot of people might say, oh, it's the biggest upset out there, it's the biggest comeback story. He gets that. He gets that drama of sports. But for him, he said it would not be a surprise. And he said later on that, you know, it's very clarifying when you're 0-4 what you need to do. And Chaminade, in this rivalry game, they felt confident about this matchup. And it has been all Flyers to this point, a 28-7 lead with 7 minutes left.
Yeah, and Coach Dolan is completely right on all those points. When you're continuously losing games, sometimes you feel like there's not an answer, but in this case, there is an obvious answer. And, I mean, they've been putting it together greatly here today, no question about it, especially in a rivalry game like a Kellenberg matchup where they come in with a much better record than you. It just simply didn't matter in this one. They played well.
And you can see Kevin Dolan Jr. in the middle of that offensive huddle, the new OC in his second game in charge. And one thing that Kevin Dolan Sr. said about his son as the OC is that what it became clear to him was that they need to throw the ball more than usual. And he said that his son has the ability to not only vision that, but then explain it quickly to kids. And he says it in such a way that it makes sense to them. Maybe he said even better than he does. So he said it was about creating confidence in the RPO game, the way that Kevin Dolan Jr. communicates. And one fun thing, too, is the athletic directors for Chaminade, they said, listen, did you do something different here this week? It looked like different. He said, no, it's my son. He's like, you let your son take over. He said, listen, and in true Kevin, if you ever spoke to Kevin Dolan, this is kind of like almost like a perfect sort of way that he describes that. As you see Granito rush to the outside. He said it was important for us to stir the soup to get the vegetables to the top. So that's the way that he describes a little bit of a change here in their offense to get the best out of Chaminade here going forward.
You know what? That might be one of the most Kevin Dolan quotes I've ever heard. He's always got the references on lock. To whatever it may be, who knows? But still, it's clearly come to fruition today, so I can't question it.
3rd and 1 from the 50 for Chaminade. Murphy to the outside, breaks a tackle. And here's Murphy to the second level. And he's taken down inside the 20.
And with the clock still going, that is ideal. Obviously, it's not moving right now because of the chains. However, as soon as those get set down, Tim Murphy will be right back and rejoice. A great push from the O-line. Murphy says, let me bounce it to the outside, breaks a tackle, and once he gets to the edge, there's only one that can stop him, and that's Jack Gagan.
And that's just it. We need to, again, give credit to this O-line. They have been physical, obviously, at the line of scrimmage, and they've really given the push to the running backs in the running game. Noah Trauma and Lucas Catazio on that left side. Catazio, maybe, Dolan said, the best offensive lineman that he's ever coached. Nick Rinaldi, you mentioned him before, another Piqua guy at center. Declan Miller, and on the other side, as well as Chris Galuccio. Galuccio, another Piqua guy. So a lot of those, you mentioned it before, the youth football and the Massapequa Mustangs creating a lot of really good players. The Dietrich brothers, of course, also from that program, as it is now a 1st and goal from the 6.
Gerbasi points forward, a big run from him right there. But the big boys up front have been huge for Chaminade, not just in this game, but the whole season. And whenever you want to have a good offense, protection can almost be put as the most important thing that you can have.
Handoff up the middle, and there's that push again from the O-line.
Seems like it just barely wasn't enough. Kellenberg does hold it on that one.
Yeah, Gerbasi gets to the 1.
We said earlier we wouldn't mind. You at least said that it would be a good idea to have Murphy throw the ball instead of himself running it every time. Well, that play he was in to hand it off, so I guess that's a step forward.
I'm not sure what vegetables you stir to have Murphy throw the football or change things up. Let's see.
He's still in. It could happen. Never out of the cards.
Maybe the carrots that you stir up? Some of the potatoes maybe? 2nd and goal from the 1. Murphy does hand off up the middle, and that is a touchdown for the Flyers. So they respond as Gerbasi gets in to the end zone for the touchdown. They respond to Kellenberg's score by extending their lead to 34-7, point after pending.
And Gerbasi right there gets a good block, and you saw big 88 for Chaminade on that play. That's Thomas Gretsch, who led the charge right up the middle. Came in shifting gears from the outside to the inside, and he gave Peter Gerbasi all green grass to get into the end zone.
Or at least turf here at Mitchell Athletic Complex. And Tomlinson's kick, it sounded like it even took a deflection there, but it is good as the lead gets extended to 35-7.
Kellenberg bounced back with one. Couldn't do it on that one, though.
So we mentioned earlier on that one of the bigger plays of the game is actually the Speed Island Speedy play of the game, and we circle back to that second quarter it was, as you see Hanley jumping the route and getting in for the score.
A pick six that really set the tone in this one. That was to make it 14-0 as Chaminade would head into the half with that lead, and in the second half, it's been all Chaminade.
That was your Speed Island Speedy play of the game, located in Garden City. Improve your speed today with Onyx Salva and the crew at Speed Island. 35-7 the lead, and Tomlinson will again put this one in to the end zone. And we mentioned at the beginning and a couple times throughout as well that it's a lot of key seniors for last year's Kellenberg team, a lot of skilled guys especially, but a special brother combination as well. The Page brothers, they have literally turned the page. There you see them there. Devin now at QB at UPenn, and Dylan also in the Ivy League football playing at Cornell. So they've played together all throughout their lives in Valley Stream, and then obviously Kellenberg, and they go their separate ways, maybe to meet soon, at least not against each other. Dylan Page protecting his own quarterback like he had his brother before, but they were part of really a special unit for Kellenberg these last 4 years.
That Ivy League matchup in a few years between Penn and Cornell, when it's page on page, it's going to be a fun one.
Is that one of those situations where dad maybe wears the
half and half, the Donna
Cornell
Kelsey jersey?
Maybe you go that route, yeah. We will see. Last year, Kellenberg went 6-4, 3 losses in their last 5 games by a combined 14 points. They were right there. Lost to Trinity, lost to Stepanak, and then obviously that heartbreaking one to Chaminade to end the season, 1917 at Gold Star Stadium. That was an incomplete pass. In addition to Devin Page, who had 1,900 yards and 13 touchdowns, you also lost Ethan Cumming, who is a big part of their offense in the running game. Sean Cannon, we mentioned before, what a player Cannon was for the Firebirds. 58 receptions for 750 yards and 5 TDs. On the other side, 6 interceptions, was also 27 of 31 for point afters and 3 for 4 in the field goal game as well. Kellenberg here, a 3rd and 9 from their own 21-yard line. Noe, nearly picked off. That was dropped. I like the sell there.
Luke Cacciola was the man right there who tipped it. He had it on the ground, but wasn't fooling any of the refs on that play as Noe faked the handoff, got it to Cacciola.
Keep going, that's fine. Right? Make him say it was no good.
Yeah, you know what? Fair. And he's a running back at heart, so he's used to having the ball in his hands. So, guess just natural instinct, keep running.
And a flag was thrown here on 4th and 9, and this will back up the Firebirds even more. A snap infraction against the Firebirds. So 4th and 15 from their own 21-yard line. Kellenberg looking for success in the AAA, but their championships have been lower level. Ooh, this is not good. Fumbled. And here comes Clive Smith just running for his life. And look at this.
Did he get the first down on that one? He did.
Wow.
They're saying we're moving forward. A botched snap turns into a first.
Clive's like, I had this the whole way. And listen, he's not your typical punter, and this is no disrespect to the punters, but a great athlete as well. Figured to feature in. You can see there, when he tucks the football and lowers his shoulder, he looks as good as any running back out there.
Oh, absolutely, and he's got a soccer background as well, so he knows how to run. An athlete at its finest.
So he will move the change for the Firebirds. We mentioned a moment ago their success. They've won a couple of AA2 championships and 3A championships. Their last title back in 2018, beating Xavier in the AA title game 41-6. That was back-to-back for the Firebirds. They also beat Fordham Prep the year before, 54-19. There are other championships coming in 99 and 90 and 88 and 87 as well.
Yeah, and both of these programs have been dominant throughout history. The matchups between the two have especially been fun. In recent years, it's been Chaminade. In recent games, it's been Chaminade. But historically, Kellenberg does have the matchup, I believe.
And that's an incomplete pass. Chaminade, their championships have been split evenly between the AAA and the AA. 3 apiece for the Flyers. Their last AAA championship coming in 2012, of course, against St. Anthony's with that immortal Zane Wasp late field goal. A 17-16 win over St. Anthony's. Before that, they won the 1998 AAA championship. They beat Holy Family back in 1978. In the AA level, they beat Moore Catholic and Kellenberg, as you mentioned, back-to-back. They also beat St. John the Baptist back in 2014. But this is the level that Chaminade believes they should be playing on, and I think they have proven that these last couple of years. Certainly a run to the semifinals a year ago. Listen, if you're top 4 in the AAA, that is no joke, right? The way that this league is. Not saying necessarily that they'll get back to that point again, but listen, they did last week. If St. Anthony's is that barometer, right, as the defending champions, as a team that has beaten Iona, that had that win against St. Joe's Regional, as a timeout is called by Micey. So if St. Anthony's is that barometer, Chaminade's right there. And what they did against them, no other team in the Catholic League has done this year, which is just run it up the middle and make life very uncomfortable for St. Anthony's. Del Barton did it, and they won in that Week 0 game. But Chaminade did that as well. Everyone, the Ionas and the Hayes, you run your spread. But Chaminade made a point to go old school, run it up the middle, and they had a lot of success against St. Anthony. They just couldn't punch it in, but they did move the football.
And that's something that Chaminade throughout the years has been elite at, just the ground and pound game of we know that we could run it 20, 25 times a game, and we will get yards of it. We will get touchdowns out of it. It's what they did against St. Anthony's. They were able to move the ball a little bit. Just wasn't enough points on the board for them to win that one. But, I mean, an incredible St. Anthony's team going from last year even into this year, losing a few seniors, still being a great team, even losing your quarterback, which losing Dante Torres is never an easy thing. But now they're in this transition year, some may say, they've still been phenomenal, and Chaminade, that loss was still nothing to frown upon.
And I'll tell you this, if there is a repeat matchup, maybe in the quarterfinals of the AAA playoffs, Chaminade's going to like their opportunity there, going to Cy Donnelly Field with no pressure on them to look to pull off the upset.
A little bit of foreshadowing, potentially, but that's definitely a matchup to look out for come playoff time.
Gala, another over-the-shoulder catch. It's been hot or cold, it feels like, this afternoon into the evening for a Gala, but another big chain-moving catch by Brendan Gala. First and 10 from the 31-yard line inside the final 3 minutes. Noe rolls right, slings it sidearm, and that's also, is dropped.
Yeah, that is a tough break, especially after such a good reception right there from Brendan Gala, who's been heating up a little bit in this fourth quarter, seeing a ton of targets, and it's not a catch every time, but it's also not a drop every time. And right there, Gala makes a really nice play on it to get Kellenberg in striking distance.
Now, where will the Firebirds be in the postseason? We'll see. Again, they do have a very, very difficult schedule ahead of them.
Kellenberg's a team that this season they've been winning the games that they're supposed to win, but their tough matchups are where they just fall short.
Another pass blocked down at the line. Yeah, you mentioned it. They opened the season, Kellenberg did, at Arlington, and that was a 49-21 loss, and the loss at home here to Bishop Hendrickson. But as Micey said, the second half of that game, he could see the light kind of go on and the turnaround. They followed with a 38-18 win over St. Francis Prep, and then a 35-8 win over Christ the King, and then a 28-7 win over St. Joe's by the Sea. Quick out. And there's Binkley with the reception. But as we mentioned as well, you're going to get a loss here to Chaminade, and then you go to Stepinac, you're home for Iona, and you've got a Farrell team that, listen, you poll the coaches in this league, and they will all tell you that Farrell is a scary team. So they returned 6 players from the team that made the championship game 2 years ago, as Binkley makes another reception. Not much there, so no easy games for Kellenberg in the final 3 weeks of the regular season.
Yeah, it's all games that they've got to stay competitive in, keep momentum going, especially, a 3-game win streak into a loss is never pretty. And, I mean, this is a score that Kellenberg was putting up in the last 2. You had a 35-8 and a 35-7 win in their last 2 games. Now they get the script flipped on them. They just got to try and get past this one and compete with the other teams that they have coming up, which are even tougher.
Botched handoff, and that was a positive play out of what was really a loss as Noe pushes forward. The quarterback position was a question mark in the preseason. Noe, even Gala was part of the competition, but that's something they got figured out, and there were other position battles that had to be figured out early, and Micey said, listen, we know where guys should be, and now it's about kind of continuing to execute the right way, and that's what the Firebirds will be looking to do down the stretch of this regular season. 3rd and 6. Handoff inside and right at the teeth of this Chaminade defense, and the Flyers not allowing anything. How many times have we seen Dean Schmidt emerge from the pile?
It's crazy, actually. Dean Schmidt is literally in the mix on every single play. Him and Eamon Welch have been all over the place today. I feel like we haven't even said their names enough for how much they've been involved in this outstanding defense.
Schmidt's the guy. Like, we knew that Seamus Miller was the guy coming into this year who will step in for Charlie Battaglia. Pressure on. That's an incomplete pass. But that's who Schmidt is for next year's team. He's the guy who, as it's a turnover on downs, Chaminade will get the ball. He's going to be the Seamus Miller, the leader of that linebacking core, and maybe he's even doing it this year. Nice combination with Miller, but he came into this game, Schmidt did, with 42 tackles, 5 for a loss, a sack as well. He has made probably the biggest strides of any player, or any starter at least, for Chaminade, who now can really go into just, I don't know if they're going to go with the victory formation here. You see the timeouts by Kellenberg. Maybe Kellenberg will wave the white flag, or maybe you still have to run a few plays. We'll see, but 1:09 is left, and Chaminade has the football with a comfortable lead.
Now it's Barry O'Connell who gets some run at quarterback.
And he does what Granito did so well today, which is hand the ball off. And even the second string guys getting the push up front.
Got all the guys off the bench repping right now for Chaminade, looking to finish this game strong in what has been a really good game for the offense.
Yeah, Chaminade, we mentioned at the Open, needed a win by any means necessary, but no fluke, certainly. This is a comprehensive performance, and how it will affect them going forward is going to be the interesting question. Has another tuck there. An attempt to stay inbounds. They will.
Chaminade just running this one down. It's not a first down, so the clock does keep ticking. And it looks like that'll do it.
And Rinaldi, we saw there, 72, loving what he is seeing from his guys. The senior from Massapequa gets to do what he and his teammates haven't gotten to do all season, which is celebrate a win. Chaminade, an impressive performance, a 35-7 win over Kellenberg.
And what a game it was for the Flyers. At the end of the day, they were the team that they came out on top for a reason. They played better than Kellenberg this entire game, picked up on where Kellenberg was mistaken, and they had the hustle. They had everything going for them in this one.
They had big plays on special teams, on defense, and obviously the offense got clicking. Their best output all season long, a 35-7 win over Kellenberg. As we mentioned before, this is not the end of our Catholic League coverage this weekend. We head out to West Islip tomorrow for those scary Lions from Staten Island. Monsignor Farrell against an explosive St. John the Baptist team that's really stout defensively as well. So that should be a fun game. If you like your defense hard hitting, that's the game to tune into. It'll be 1:30 from West Islip tomorrow afternoon. Myself, Jared Veluzzi, on the call for that one. So that should wrap things up for us here from Mitchell Athletic Complex. Chaminade, a decisive 35-7 win. They improved to 1-4 on the season, and Kellenberg evens out their record now at 3-3. I want to thank our entire crew here, our executive producer, Ben Turchin, our technical director, Chris Sweeney. Bringing you the moving images today, Mike Verdi and Larry Karetny. On stats, Tommy bringing it. Of course, our intern, Jared Veluzzi. For my broadcast partner, John Baccio, Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us from Mitchell Athletic Complex. We look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.